Yeah, what's up, everybody? How's it going? What's new tonight? Happy Saturday night. I got a few things I got to correct here real quick on the show, just because, it is what it is. Uh, Fix Bella's camera. I don't know why it's like that. There we go. What's up, Muffin Rando? Great to see you tonight. Thanks for being here. The Narrow Waist is going to be lurking. What the F's here? How you doing? Great to see you. Brian Ogden, I have a gold finger. Well, where it depends on where you stick it, really. Time for telling us, Nunya says. Garfield says, during the ceasefire, Iran had time to regroup and get rearmed. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Speaking of Ricada, I thought he said the 5K locals gift will be delivered soon. That's what he said. That's what he said. Did you buy your watch back from Nick Ricada? No. What do you mean? I wasn't that late. Sorry. What's up, Mismo? How you doing? Finch, good to see you. Pat Hacker, awesome. Joe, what's up, Joe? What's with USAID? They restructured it. They're using it now to support a bunch of MAGA stuff in Europe. We'll talk about it. Delay is obvious is here. Great to see you. Fletcher Boy says, I'm sure everyone's upset about Andrew Tate and his brother getting arrested. I'm definitely not. I didn't even hear about that. He got arrested again. Wow. What's up, Doc? Good to see you. Lisa Day, what's up? Ready for some news? Good. Kelly Gay's here. Good to see you. What's up, Dan? Awesome. Catherine K. Yay, Jim's on. That's right. Spuds is here, too. That's right. Smash the like button. Greg says, don't forget to slam the like button. Good fellow. Hello, fellow Jim Somniacs. Yeah, what's up? So everybody's here. Hey, Maya, how you doing? Great to see you, Garfield. Lady Bam is here. Good to see you. Salty C's here. Good to see you. 20 to get things started. Well, thank you. I didn't even get a chance to start the goal yet on YouTube, but thank you so much. With that, we'll just go ahead and leave Bellavision activated. We'll just say that now it's just 80 away from adding a first additional hour. That's what we'll do there. All right. And we'll just do that. Well, low watermark. What's up, bud? Good to see you. Kofi over here on Kick. How you doing? Arrested in Miami. He was wearing chick pants. Oh, funny. Hey, Woodtick Mike. Good to see you. Weed whacked my fiber. Watching with readers on phone. Oh man, that's terrible. Michael Stetson. Good to see you. Fiber. You got to watch out with that stuff. It's real easy to break. Tate brothers were arrested under a UK extradition request. Oh man. Wow. Steve Hilliard. How you doing? Great to see you. Ank. Awesome to have you. Lynn P's here too. Look at that. Isn't being punctual a white trait? Well, I try. Brian Ogden for 25. Hello. Wow. So that means right now, folks, we are just 65 away, right? No, 55 away, right? Yeah, 55. 55 away from adding a first additional hour. I guess I should start the goal on YouTube before it gets too carried away. Anyone else I missed here? Karen O, awesome to see you. What's up? How you doing, Mr. Dan Gagax? Renee Collins, so happy to see you too. So yes, let's go. Let me get the goal started. Everybody knows how the goal works on YouTube, right? For every $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, becoming a member or gifting members on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and Twitch, along with Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips. We add it all up, and when we hit $100, we add an extra hour. We are currently $55 away from adding a first additional hour to the show, so I will just go ahead and put that in there. And we'll do it since we already got Bellavision, there's no reason to not just do this, and do this, and this, and this, and say we are 55 away. Yes, 55 away. All right. So now that's all set up on there. So happy everyone's here. Great to see you. Thank you again, Brian. And Fletcher Boy, thank you so much. And Ank, member for 13 months. Wow. Hi, good peoples. That's awesome. 13 months. Oof. I didn't even realize I've been doing this that long. That's crazy. Thank you, Gundam, for posting the links. We'll get to those in a second. So there's a time for Iran to know what carpet bombing means. I think it might happen because, some bad stuff has been happening. Bad stuff. So we'll get right into it. Statement from CENTCOM on the recent fallen and missing U.S. service members. So on July 17th, 2 service members in Jordan were killed in action. This is bad news. This is really bad news. I don't want anybody to die. Sweet Daydreams, what's up? Great to see you. Frisky is hiding. Frisky actually ran outside, so she's not in the building, as they say. Let's fix Bell's cam here. Better. I hope everybody liked the show last night with the guests and everything on. I'm thinking I might do that every Friday night. Just have guests on Fridays. It'll be maybe the one day of the week we'll have guests. We'll have those guys, recurring guests. Maybe some other people come on. Use an at with a to replace. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Thank you. I'll do that. So welcome all from Joe. God bless. Keep it going. Thank you. With Joe's 2 there, that means we're now 53 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. What is going on here? Thank you so much. Funky Friday. Yeah, sounds good. The IRGC are religious fanatics, just like the Taliban. They will fight to the death and sacrifice civilians. Bombing won't defeat them. Well, I think we're 53 away. That's right, 53 away. I think what's going to happen is some other people are going to get involved. I believe they're going to have maybe the Saudis or Jordanians or maybe the UAE. Somebody else is going to have to get involved. So, and then, yes, we had a rant here from Lynn P. Saturday News. Thank you. With the 5. So, the format worked for you yesterday, but you're a simple man. Well, we try. So that means we're 48 away. We're already more than halfway there, folks. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Lynn P., for the Saturday News. So in addition to the 2 people killed that CENTCOM is reporting in Jordan, another service member is currently missing, and the U.S. and partner forces are defending against Iranian ballistic missiles and drone attacks. 4 American service members were medically evacuated to Jordanian hospitals. They have since been discharged. Other personnel were evaluated for minor injuries, and they have returned to duty. Out of respect for the families, CENTCOM will withhold the information, including the identities of the fallen warriors, until 24 hours after they have been notified. Last night's show was fun. Enjoyed the guests. Okay. Bombing them will get them their 72 virgin goats sooner. Yes. It was a fun show last night. Okay. Good to hear. I hope everybody enjoyed it. So, all American bloodshed is on the hands of U.S. and Israel, the imperial aggressors. Oh, my Mises Caucus, you guys are really, read the room. Unfortunately, there will be more deaths to come. Iran used the ceasefire to restock their supplies from China and Russia. Well, we will see. Aaron Troyer says, holy moly, it's like old home week around here. Look at all the familiars in the chat. Hi, everybody. Well, thank you for being here, Aaron. Everyone is welcome. Hi, Jim. Yesterday was great. Thank you. Thank you for the 2, CF Rob. That means now we're just 46 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. And Doc says libertarians are losers. They always try to lose a lot, don't they? They do try to lose a lot. And so Fox says the deaths of the 2 U.S. service members in Jordan marks the first American combat fatalities in the conflict since March, as fighting between U.S. and Iran intensifies. Iranian officials say the missile strike was retaliation for President Trump's recent attack on Iranian bridges and airports. Trump declared last week the ceasefire was over and the previous agreement had effectively collapsed. The strike comes as both sides continue exchanging attacks. The U.S. forces targeting Iranian military infrastructure, while Tehran expands missile and drone attacks against American bases and key Gulf allies. Now, I've looked at what's been hit, what the attacks have been, and to my eyes, it looks like we're isolating certain areas to prevent them from being able to quickly and effectively bring in reinforcements. I think we're either trying to trick them into thinking we're going to launch, or someone's going to launch a ground invasion either into some islands or along the coast, or they're actually going to do it with some other forces. Maybe if it's not, maybe what'll happen is our Marines and our forces will take Karg Island and Kesh Island or some other islands, some other areas, and then the follow-on occupation forces will be Jordanian or Omani or Saudi Arabian or something. There's basically no timeline in which this makes any sense for preserving Republicans' midterm performance, said Kurt Mills. Well, I mean, that's the thing. You can't fight a war or anything like this and be worried about that. The problem is not dealing with a rational leadership. Iran will not negotiate in good faith. They will not respect any deal. Yeah, I mean, eventually, the U.S. says their goal is not regime change, but that's what's got to happen for this to peacefully be able to be resolved and to prevent their access to the coast. Yes, that's what it looks like to me.
Some of the aftermath we've seen from Kuwait, this ramp up of the war, John, really started on July 7th, last week, when President Trump attended the NATO summit in Ankara. Iran attacked 3 commercial ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz. 1 was from Saudi Arabia, 2 others from the United Arab Emirates. That brought the first wave of strikes on back-to-back nights. I'm told that a 3rd strike was planned. That night it didn't happen. And then since then, we've seen 7 consecutive nights of strikes. The Iranians tonight are saying they launched this missile strike at the base in Jordan in retaliation for President Trump ordering attacks on Iranian bridges and airports. We've seen many drone attacks on Gulf allies in recent days. Dozens of drones have been fired at Kuwait, hitting that desalination plant and power plant in Kuwait. We've also seen Tomahawk cruise missiles being fired from guided missile destroyers, as you see here, and F-18 Super Hornets being launched from the USS George H.W. Bush and the Abraham Lincoln. But as the war has been ramped up once again, and the memorandum of understanding has been effectively scrapped, President Trump said in Ankara last week that the ceasefire is over. Iran seems to be matching the U.S. they're trying tit for tat. So as the U.S. forces continue to strike targets ashore, Iran is ramping up its strikes on bases in the region, particularly where there are U.S. servicemen. And once again, 2 American servicemen.
What do you mean? Get rid of my background screen? You're talking about what's behind this back here? Get rid of that, my background? I mean, is that what you're talking about? I don't. Are you talking about my intro? I don't know. We hit the rail line that connected the sand orcs to the snow orcs days ago. This will be the end for the sand orcs. Gas is at $4 nationwide again. Midterms are approaching. Iran's hoping for Democrat victories. They're playing the long game now. I don't know. We'll see. So Iran is just attacking people or military areas. They're just attacking anything. They're lashing out, hitting apartment buildings. They're hitting, airports. They're hitting, they hit a desalinization plant, which is considered a war crime. NASCAR Mo, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Can't see resupply without the infrastructure. Background looks fine. As I'm saying, I don't know what they're talking about. If they're talking about maybe my intro with all the stuff going on, or if they're talking about the stuff. I mean, you can't even see what's behind there, really. I don't know. That's what war is. One side retaliating against the other over and over. Yeah, it is. Garfield, 338 at the convenience store in my house. Yeah, gas. I got gas today. It was 3.25. So I don't know. I mean, I always check this. Right now, oil is at $82. So that's not insane. I mean, pricing for oil with everything that's going on. Don't worry about the midterms. Just go vote. They are running over protesters as well. Yeah, I saw that in Iran. There's more stuff going on. I'm not happy about gas, but not voting Dem because of it. Yeah, that's funny. Gas is 40 cents cheaper this week from last week, and I'm in California. Yeah, well, kind of is, what it is. Let's see. There's more to this.
Service members have been killed, 1 is missing, and 4 wounded. And there's been dozens of attacks in Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, in Qatar, at Al Dhafra Air Base. That's the largest in the Middle East. And this is the first time American troops have been killed in this war since March 1st. It's also the first time since January of 2024 that U.S. servicemen have been killed inside Jordan. Back then in 2024, it was an Iranian-linked terrorist group that fired that drone at Tower 22, John.
Wow, 375 Sam's here. Well, that's not bad. I mean, it's still higher. I wish it was 275. So the time has come for us to take Karg Island. Here's how we do it. We could let the Arabs take Karg Island while America owns the sky that moves and Iran breaks. So here's what this guy says. Could the Saudis and UAE take Karg Island from Iran? I don't know. There's no sound. Why is there no sound here? Huh. You do it with shitty AI videos? Cut off the money that pays for the missiles and the terror dries up. Karg Island's the jugular. Nearly all of Iran's oil flows through that 120-mile patch of rock. Close to 90% of exports, $78 billion a year. Saudi Arabia fields 250,000 troops and an air force stronger than Iran's. UAE is a lean 65,000 strong force. The Pentagon calls little Sparta. Give the Saudis and the Emiratis and the Jordanians a ground assignment. Flush the IRGC out in the open and let overwhelming American and allied air power do what it does best. Make no mistake, an island assault is a hard, dangerous mission, not a weekend raid. It's a rare fight where countries with the grievance and the manpower carry the ground, and America carries the sky. Iran built its empire on that one island. It's time somebody took it away. Well, it's possible. Possible. The United Nations and international law globalists are being called out for being totally silent on Iran attacking Kuwait's water desalinization plant. Yes. They're out of water. Yeah. 369 in Southwest Missouri. The Shia around the world see Iran as their protector, and as such, most Shia nation in the world. Hence, it should come no surprise that 90% plus Shia nation ungirded by Persian pride. So, Dems will manipulate prices as a last resort. Well, that can happen. Could happen. So, hold on, I got something. Uh, hold on. Hold on a second. All right, got it. All right. Sorry, I had it trying to fix something. All Americans are Satan's people. What? But all of Iran's are innocents. Oh, okay. It's only a war crime if the USA does it. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. Let's see. All Americans are guilty, but all Iranians are innocent, right? Yeah. Now I get it. All right. Cut off all supplies to weapons and drones to Iran. Well, that would work. Mhm. Yeah. Islam's goal is to subdue and conquer the world. Yeah. Point is, a year ago, nationwide average was below $3. Well, and 3 years before that, it was over $4. So, I mean, I don't know. So, yeah. Some of the people accused Trump of war crimes just sit there and ignore what the mullahs are doing. They have no principles. They turn a blind eye to oppression against women in Muslim nations. Yeah, so this is what they did here, blowing up this stuff. Oh, so, yeah, so the UN was always useless. Yeah, always useless. UN. So. Two U.S. service members killed in Iranian strikes in Jordan. So they were killed in action in Jordan during the Iranian attacks on U.S. base in Jordan. CENTCOM confirmed. The innocent Iranian people don't live off what Iran does. Well, they do. They do. You saw that the water plant was only working at 50%. It's possible. Uh, on July 17th, two service members were killed by ballistic missile and drone attacks. 4 service members were medically evacuated. We saw that. So, out of respect, they're not going to release it. Pete Hegseth responded saying, Godspeed, heroes. Their sacrifice only stiffens our resolve. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and Senator Rick Scott and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and other elected officials were among numerous lawmakers who offered prayers and support for the fallen troops and their family members. Representative Abe Hamada said he was heartbroken by the loss of 2 American soldiers who heroically defended our nation and partner forces against Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks in Jordan. Nancy Mace called the news devastating and urged Americans to pray for the missing service members and the troops' family. Some Democrats also paired their condolences with criticisms of U.S. policy towards Iran. Senator Andy Kim said his heart is with the families and that before calling to bring America's troops out of harm's way. We're always in our harm's way when it comes to Iran. Don't they understand that? So Rep. Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico said the service members were killed in a war that never should have happened in the first place. Oh, okay. Service members' deaths marked the first time since fighting resumed in June after the collapse of the ceasefire. Yeah, I got that story. It's in the description. So Iran strikes on Jordan come amid a wider wave of Iranian attacks on U.S. allies in the Persian Gulf. Iran launched missiles on Kuwait and Qatar in recent days as well. The attacks followed a 6-day U.S. campaign in Iran in response to the IRGC attacking commercial vessels in the Strait. What's up, Alan? How you doing? Howdy, folks. Bad news, but we persevere. It is bad news, but the water plant only served about 10,000 people. I don't know. So, it's a developing story. So, same thing from the Gateway Pundit. 2 service members killed, 1 missing in action. Basically, it's all the same. CBS News reported that several U.S. service members were injured in the Iranian attacks on 2 Jordanian bases. How is Iran attacking anyone? I thought they were utterly defeated. Okay. After October 10th, it's a little hard to predict where these monsters will strike next. Yeah. We need to hurry up and have Elon Musk to build a bunch of robots to fight these wars. Oh. Yeah. And then they need to have like a supercomputer, right, to control them all. Like we could call it like CloudNet or something, or Skynet, and it can control all the robots that fight the war. Funny because all my prices, car insurance, electricity, utilities, property taxes went up under Biden 30 to 50% and hasn't gone down. Yeah, they all went up. All that stuff, the reason utilities went up is because of us selling our natural gas over to Europe because of the Ukraine war. Car insurance went up because there's a bunch of people driving around without insurance, hitting people, do other stuff, and causing accidents. You know, asymmetric warfare, drones and missiles are cheap, relatively speaking. Yeah. So, all right. On Thursday, the U.S. launched its 6th night in a row. But actually, I heard this was the 8th night in a row today. So Thursday was the 6th, Friday was the 7th. Today is the 8th day in a row. And it's supposedly going to get a lot worse. Like they're going to do a lot more. Do a lot more. U.S. launches 8th night of strikes on Iran after Iranian attack kills 2 U.S. soldiers.
With Iran following deadly attacks on American forces. The U.S. Central Command says 2 soldiers were killed and a 3rd is missing at this hour after an Iranian attack on a base in Jordan. They are the first U.S. troops to die in the region since April. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth sharing this post today. Godspeed, heroes. Their sacrifice only stiffens our resolve. Attacks between Iran and the U.S. have been escalating for days now. A total of 16 U.S. service members have died since the war started at the end of February. CBS's Anna Corin is in our London bureau with the very latest developments. Anna.
Good evening, Jerika. In a series of attacks on U.S. bases in the Gulf, it appears the United States and Iran are sliding back into war, weeks after the fragile ceasefire was extended. Overnight, both sides launched attacks targeting critical infrastructure, with the vital and strategic waterway, the Strait of Hormuz, shut down once again. For the 7th consecutive night, U.S. strikes on Iranian targets as the drumbeat of a return to
Well, unfortunately, I don't think any of those prices that went up are going to really go down in the near future, like for housing, car insurance, just the, the inflation, that the amount of, it's because of the money they printed more than a lot of it is because of the money they printed. They caused all this inflation, just the, trillions and trillions of dollars they pumped in, giving away free money to people. Unfortunately, why are we watching CBS? Just for a minute, I try to get the sources from everywhere. That way, and we determine what the truth is when we see the sources.
The war grows louder. A week after the ceasefire fell apart, the U.S. military said it had hit Iranian surveillance sites, military logistics infrastructure, underground weapon storage, and maritime capabilities. Iran responded, sending a barrage of missiles and drones at U.S. allies in the Gulf, striking U.S. bases in Bahrain and Jordan with deadly force. In Kuwait, power generation and water desalination plants were also hit, as well as a U.S. military support center. For the first time in almost 4 months, Iran also attacked Saudi Arabia. State media said the IRGC targeted the Prince Sultan Air Base, which hosts American forces. If the U.S. attacks continue for another 2 to 3 days, we will enter a phase of full-scale offensive and destructive attacks, said a senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader. Iran will no longer limit itself to mere retaliation, and no political border will be safe from Iran's offensive powers.
I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for it.
President Trump says a U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports would resume this week to apply more pressure on the regime. Meanwhile, 50,000 American troops remain on standby in the region, prepared for what happens next. Jarika.
All right, Anna Corin for us in London. Thank you. As the Iran conflict escalates, there's new pain at the pump for Americans. Tonight, a gallon of regular nationwide is set to top $4. That's up 11 cents in just the past.
I don't buy that.
When the power goes out,
it's I've never. They were saying it was $4.60 a gallon. It was never $4.60 a gallon. Where are they getting these numbers? What, in California? I don't understand it. It was never $4.60 a gallon. Iran is probably talking about killing civilians and blowing up buildings. Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. You know, so 100%. That's what they're gonna do. So the strait was never closed. It was just harassment by Iran. Yeah, that's all they were doing is harassment stuff. So CENTCOM says today at 6 p.m. Eastern time, U.S. forces began launching new airstrikes against Iran at the commander-in-chief's direction. The strikes are designed to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping in the strait and to swiftly punish the IRGC who launched the attacks against American service members in Jordan last night. Just to remind someone what I said the other night, adjusting for inflation, when me and Jim was kids, gas was the equivalent of $7 to $8 a gallon. Yeah. CBS said nothing during Biden. Nope. They said it was all transitory. They said, no, it's nothing to worry about. It's going to go away. Don't worry. It's been over $5 in Washington State. California, like Satan, ruined our state too. Oh, man. Well, so dear Heavenly Father, we lift up the sailors, soldiers, air and Marines. Where is fuck? I hate that happens now. Shit just starts playing for no reason. Aaron Troyer says to Jim and chat, what do you think Trump and Hexa should do to finally get Iran to say, all right, enough already? They have to somehow cause an uprising. The government has to change in Iran. That's the only way it's going to be solved, or somebody has to come to power, that's actually not crazy. I don't know how you do it without the government changing. I mean, I guess there was some rumors that they were going to get Ahmadinejad to take over and that he was going to be reasonable, but I don't know. He was one of the people who took the hostages in 79. California's $6+ a gallon is biasing the average up. Yeah, prepare for a lot of bombs. Pretty much, that's about it. Hey, Roselle, awesome to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. We lift up sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, and guardsmen into your loving care. Protect our nation from all that is evil. Guide our way through these difficult times. Amen. CENTCOM announces they're beginning the strikes to punish Iran for the killing of U.S. service members in Jordan. Unconfirmed reports that POTUS to CENTCOM to open the gates of hell on Iran. God protect our troops tonight. So,
John, once again, 2 American servicemen have been killed. 1 is missing and 4 wounded in an Iranian missile attack on a base in Jordan. About 4.5 hours from here is the Muwafaq Salti Air Base in Jordan, where the U.S. Air Force has a tremendous presence. We saw this base received many U.S. Air Force fighter squadrons before the war. And while we have been made a big deal about the 2 U.S. Navy aircraft carrier strike groups and the dozens of warships in the region, the U.S. Air Force has not received as much attention, John, because of the sensitivity of the locations throughout the Arab world, and including here in Israel, where those jets are. We're talking F-16s, F-15s, F-35s, A-10 Warhogs, KC-135 refueling planes, KC-46, also the HH-60 Pavehawk rescue helicopters that we saw rescue that F-15E pilot and his Wizzo when they had to punch out over Iran. This is some of the aftermath we've seen from Kuwait. This ramp up of the war, John, really started on July 7th, last week, when President Trump attended the NATO summit in Ankara. Iran attacked 3 commercial ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz. 1 was from Saudi Arabia, 2 others from the United Arab Emirates. That brought the first wave of strikes on back-to-back nights. I'm told that a third strike was planned. That night it didn't happen. And then since then, we've seen 7 consecutive nights of strikes. The Iranians tonight are saying they launched this missile strike at the base in Jordan in retaliation for President Trump ordering attacks on Iranian bridges and airports. We've seen many drone attacks on Gulf allies in recent days. Dozens of drones have been fired at Kuwait, hitting that desalination plant and power plant in Kuwait. We've also seen Tomahawk cruise missiles being fired from guided missile destroyers, as you see here, and F-18 Super Hornets being launched from the USS George H.W. Bush and the Abraham Lincoln. But as the war has been ramped up once again, and the memorandum of understanding has been effectively scrapped, President Trump said in Ankara last week that the ceasefire is over. Iran seems to be matching the U.S. They're trying tit for tat. So as the U.S. forces continue to strike targets ashore, Iran is ramping up its strikes on bases in the region, particularly where there are U.S. servicemen. And once again, 2 American service members have been killed, 1 is missing, and 4 wounded. And there's been dozens of attacks in Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, in Qatar, at Al Dhafra Air Base. That's the largest in the Middle East. And this is the first time American troops have been killed in this war since March 1st. It's also the first time since January of 2024 that U.S. servicemen have been killed inside Jordan. Back then in 2024, it was an Iranian-linked terrorist group that fired that drone at Tower 22, John.
So I wonder, do you guys remember what they used to do like years ago when I think it was Hannibal with they had like the elephants and stuff like that. They used to grease up pigs and light them on fire and let them run through the because that's the only way you could stop an elephant charge was like pigs for some reason, upset elephants, and especially when they were on fire and it would cause them to go wild and stuff. I think we could do the same thing with just Iran, just flaming pigs into them. They can't touch them. They have to just run away, right? I don't see the IRGC going anywhere. The most realistic is burying the nuclear uranium and running the strait. Not sure about taking any islands. Well, if we take the island, then they have no money. No money, they can't do anything. Pork bombs during prayer time. Love that idea. Was on Lookner's channel, and his chat is filled with IRGC sympathizers. Yeah, I don't like, I'm starting to like stay away from his channel because it's like weird. I got timed out in his channel for saying something really mild. Pork carts on a street in New York City. That's right. I hate Iran. Their government are demons. Yes, that's right. Pigs. What's up, Great Eagle? How you doing? Aerial bacon grease spraying. Yes, that's what we should be spraying them. We should be doing like what's it called? Chemtrails with bacon grease. Flaming pigs. Yes. Pigs in space. PETA would go nuts. Well, you know. Got another rant. All right. Wow, look at that. Got a 10 from Dizzy D. Thank you so much, Dizzy D. On the Rumbles. That means, folks, we are now just $36 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you all so much. War pigs. Yeah, now war pigs have the power. Who is Lookner? It's called, what is it called? Something news, no bias news or something like that. I can't remember the channel. Like, are you saying there would be a bunch of scarfed, a bunch of flaming pigs, scared of a bunch of, you would be scared if a flaming pig was running at you? No, I probably would be scared if a flaming pig was running at me, but I wouldn't be afraid to like, touch it or, anything like that. They can't touch the pig. It would be unclean. Catapult them when pigs fly. There you go. No agenda news. That's what's called. No agenda news. I'm not looking forward to Viva Sunday with Barnes. Well, I don't. You wouldn't be scared. No, I probably would, but I would have to do something. We need to start dropping bunker busters. Illuminate Carg Island completely. Agenda free news. Yeah, agenda free. Hey, okay, Garfield. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you. Agenda free TV until he rants about Trump. Apparently, that's not an agenda. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? So the U.S. military is bombing Iran at President Trump's direction to swiftly punish Iran following the death of the 2 service members. Pray for our troops. The strikes are designed to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping. So let's see here.
The Air Force isn't as public about where it deploys its forces, but Jordan is a major hub, along with bases here in Israel, also Qatar, UAE, and of course in Saudi Arabia. But Jordan has been a major
Hey,
hub. So
tattoo
once
lady,
again,
how you
Aisha,
doing? What a
two
pretty,
American
oh, look at that pretty. Is that a Belgian Malinois? What a pretty doggy. Looks like a Belgian Malinois. Very pretty. Lookner is the baby conceived on the tarmac. Okay. His chat is a combo of hilarious and retarded. Yeah, well. Have you seen the channel Max Afterburner? No. Is that a what is that? No. I've been watching 2CTV and Goldie and stuff like that and some other stuff.
Service members have been killed. 1 is still missing, and 4 were wounded in an Iranian ballistic missile attack on a base in Jordan last evening. It is the first American casualties in months since those 6 U.S. Army personnel were killed in the early days of the war in the attack on Kuwait.
Yeah,
Aisha.
terrible news this afternoon, Lucas. And we were anticipating, we'd heard some things about it and just wanted to make sure and confirmed it before we went on air with it, Lucas. So thank you for that report. As far as the 4 American service members that were injured and have now been medically evacuated, do you know anything more about how bad
I'll
those
check them out.
injuries are and how they were injured?
It appears they were injured when these Iranian ballistic missiles hit their intended target at this base in Jordan. Let me read the statement from U.S. Central Command. Aisha, it says, on July 17th, 2 U.S. service members in Jordan were killed in action as U.S. Central Command and partner forces defended against Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks. Additionally, 1 service member
I'll check it out.
in action. 4 American service members were medically evacuated to Jordanian hospital.
Jordanian hospitals. So that's, you know, if it was really serious, they would have been evacuated to Germany and then back to the U.S. There's around 8,000 civilians on Karg. Obliterating it would be an ecological and humanitarian disaster. U.S. or an ally taking it would be the only sensible move to take it offline. Well, that's what I was thinking was going to happen. But we might have to go in, like the Marines or someone might have to go in to take it. And then not stay there, have like Saudis or somebody come in to hold it with our air forces, maybe. Lookner does his best, but he has a hard time hiding his disgust for the Trump administration. Also, why the egg is he using the Iranian news source all the time? I don't know. He does all the time use Iranian news sources. It's very, like, to say no agenda TV, it's not really true. Exploding pigs. Yes, that would work. That would require ground troops. Yes, but not our ground troops, the Saudis. I mean, we might have to use our troops just to take it real quick, you know. I mean, we could do that, but that's just the staying there. That's not like a never-ending war if we just take it and then give it to the Saudis or to the Emiratis or something like that. Steve should be thanking Trump because he wouldn't have any work. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? So this guy says 500 missile strikes have been launched on Iran. Several of Iran's top leaders have been eliminated. Iran's countdown has begun. Like, I don't know. President Trump says he couldn't care less that Iran just declared it's 100% withdrawing from the memorandum of understanding on the fallen troops. We hate to see it happen. It's in service to our country. It's very sad. It's a very sad thing.
Happening right now, U.S. forces have been hitting Iranian surveillance sites and underground weapon storages on the 7th straight night of escalating strikes against Iran. And it comes as the U.S. maintains its naval blockade against all of those Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. And the continued strikes come at a cost. Lucas Tomlinson is live in Tel Aviv, Israel right now with the very latest. Hi, Lucas.
Good afternoon, Aisha. That's right. The Pentagon says 13 American service members, 10 soldiers, and 3 sailors have been wounded in action this week after continued Iranian attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait and Jordan. And last night in particular, there was a powerful strike on a base in Jordan, Aisha, that houses a bunch of U.S. Air Force fighter squadrons. Here was General Jack Keane earlier.
Can they harass a little bit? Certainly. But we can take down all all of their means and all of their ability to control it. And it just takes some time to deal with this.
And for the second straight day, Kuwait said a water desalination and power plant were hit by Iranian drones and missiles. About 90% of Kuwait's drinking water comes from this reverse osmosis process. American airstrikes continued last night. This for the 7th night in a row. They began on July 7th when President Trump was at the NATO summit in Turkey.
Hold on. Just try refreshing. I just looked. It's still there. So you might have to, you might have to refresh. So wait a minute. We can send a flower. How does that? What does it even mean? How does that happen? I have no idea. If you're on a phone, there's some kind of weird gifts on a phone, Aaron. I'm not sure how it works exactly. Oh, those flowers are to our fallen soldiers. Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought it was. I thought she was talking about this. My nephew's stepson went to Jordan last week. We're very concerned. Anyone notice all the flowers are poppies? I'm sorry. I must have. Okay, sorry. I didn't know what that. I didn't know what you guys were talking about. Sorry. But yeah, make sure you refresh. It should pop up. Lurch.
When Iran hit those 3 oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, bringing an end to the ceasefire. Since then, U.S. Air Force F-35s, F-16s, F-15s, and Navy Super Hornets and their stealth fighter jets have been the vanguard of the response, dropping 2,000-pound satellite-guided bombs and standoff missiles, destroying bridges around Bandar Abbas in recent days, Iran's largest naval and commercial port on the Strait of Hormuz. Shipping traffic has slowed to a trickle in the strait in recent days. To highlight how dangerous it is, Aisha, to sail through the strait, U.S. warships have not attempted it in more than 2 months. The U.S. naval blockade returned this week. An Iranian advisor, the supreme leader, we have not seen since his father and most of his family were killed on the first day of the war, warning, quote, if U.S. strikes continue for several more days, we will move into a phase of full-scale offensive operations. So expect more airstrikes tonight in Iran from the U.S. military. There's also dozens of additional aircraft coming in from the U.S. Air Force, fighter squadrons, also refueling planes. And also, there's been 3 medevac flights carrying the wounded out of the region. Aisha?
Wow. Okay. Lucas Tomlinson with that live report.
Okay. So their sacrifices won't be forgotten. Finish the IRGC. U.S. strikes Iran following the killing of 2 U.S. service members. Just watch the video on YouTube. Another video. Oh, man. I don't know. We'll see.
Are launching another round of strikes against Iran for the 8th consecutive night. CENTCOM says the attacks are meant to degrade Iran's ability to target ships in the Strait of Hormuz and comes as punishment for Iran killing 2 U.S. service members in Jordan last night. Joey, I'm going to take it back to you on this breaking news. We probably figured that this was coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably planned either way, perhaps, because it's the 8th consecutive night. But President Trump obviously making a stand here.
Yeah, so it's a chess game, right? You don't make this move unless you've planned for whatever they do after that. You're positioning and posturing your troops. You're changing things around. What happened in Jordan was a tragedy. You learn from it. You make sure you know whatever failure allowed that to happen is fortified, and then you go on the offensive and you punish them. One thing President Trump has always been consistent about is if you slap me, I will punch you. And I think that that's probably the message they're trying to send right now. If they have the target opportunity for a punch, that's the other side of it, is what do they have left that they know they can hit and cause real harm? And that's what we'll sit back and watch because we don't know that.
Yeah, certainly. Lisa, your thoughts on 8th consecutive night of strikes?
Yeah, obviously concerned about the escalation trap, but they killed 2 of our soldiers. Mm-hmm. And so I hope in response to this, President Trump hits them very, very hard. Maybe we need to take out another leader. You don't kill our American soldiers.
Right.
And get away with it.
Ben, this was perhaps coming anyway, but how do you think the week is going to shape up? I think the president has got FIFA tomorrow. There might be a pause in some of the discussion for that celebration, but Monday's going to come, and the American people who were doing other things this weekend, they're going to be wondering what the next step is.
Yeah, and I think it's important for the president to explain to the American people what his intent is and why he intends to do it. We know that this is something, to your point, that was probably already planned. Maybe they escalated it a little bit, just given the context. But look, at this point, we should have a real focus on what the definition is for the president of what the end game looks like here and what he's going to do in order to achieve it. The American people deserve to hear that from him. As I said, I think that this whole conflict from the beginning needed to have greater focus. We needed to know what the aim was, what we were willing to do, what we really wanted to achieve in terms of degrading them. And I think that that's something that, unfortunately, the absence of it led to a lot of different people going in a lot of different directions on this
You have to ask yourself, where are we if that first week or however long of bombing where they killed half the leadership and took out most of the Navy and Air Force, and then if they left after that, where would we be?
Yeah.
You know, you have to ask, would we be in a similar place with less casualties? I don't know. I'm not armchair quarterbacking, but.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the fun.
Yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it would have just been worse, I think, if we would have just left after that. We got a gifted membership from Out of the Lurch. I believe that's Lurch Linger. That means we are now just $30 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Lurch. And that means that Diamond G received a gifted membership from Lurch. Thank you, Lurch, and welcome to the Jimsomniacs, Diamond G. If you lower it to $2.99, we could turn everybody green and more would re-up. The problem is I can't change the price. It won't let me change the price. I tried. It won't let me. YouTube won't let me change the price. When I set it up, YouTube picked the prices, and that's what they picked. I don't know. I mean, I would have to completely stop memberships, wait until everybody's memberships are gone, and then I could change them. That's the only way to do it, is to completely stop memberships, because it won't let you change them once somebody's already. You can't change them once people have memberships. The price, that is. Month Iran war is going to be like Easter Bunny battery. Yeah, could be. Trump did say 6 weeks ago, if American soldiers die by the hand of Iran, we will attack Iran like never before. I mean, that's what they're saying. I hope. Doesn't Jordan doesn't have the Iron Dome? No, but it's got some of our stuff there, to help them. Greater focus. Iran doesn't get nukes. Holy crap, are people stupid on purpose? Yeah, it's weird. How about you kill 2 of ours, we kill all of you? Do we still have nukes? Are they fueled and ready? Yeah, and I'm sure we have, sure we have a submarine sitting in the Gulf of Aden. We tried peace, now we go strength. Yeah, great idea. Let the enemy know exactly what to expect. Yes. Yeah, 10 by 3 or 5 by 6. No, I understand. It's just it won't let me do it. We never heard this sort of talk during Afghanistan or Iraq, did we? No. UAE got the Iron Dome system from Israel. Yes. Thank you, Alliance. Yes, thank you. Thank you to everybody. Hello, everyone. How do we stop Iran from firing missiles when their missiles are in caves and inside mountains? You got to blow up the mountains, I think, right? You lowered it once. I was able to change. I could change it to, it's like $4.99, I think, is the only one I can change it to, is because it's set at the middle tier one, $6. It's $4.99, $6, and $10 is the 3 choices I have. The membership option is gone on the phone app. Had to use the laptop. Fox News is becoming commentary, not feeling the positive vibes. Yeah. Kick all the Middle East people out of the country now. Wonder if we could fine tune an EMP takedown. I don't think we would even need an EMP, really. It's their launchers, which we have destroyed quite a bit, but I guess they still have more. Yeah. Streams that have memberships for $2.99 and $1.99 have a lot of members. They re-up all the time. Yeah, I understand that. Like I said, maybe I'll just shut them off, and after everyone's are gone, I'll change it. But so yeah, so that was basically that. So U.S. launches 8th night of strikes. What is going on? Why is this? The U.S. launches 8th night of strikes. Supreme Leader called President Trump's signature utterly worthless and devoid of credibility. Third soldier remains missing following the strike. Strikes are designed to further degrade Iran's ability to do anything. So, State Department issues a travel advisory for Americans worldwide to exercise extreme caution. So they're probably hearing chatter that Iran is planning some kind of attack, maybe on civilians somewhere. Yeah, we need to level every mountain in Iran. Do you think there's other nukes? Anything other than nukes will do it? I don't know. I don't know if we want to use nukes though. I mean, that's kind of a crossing a line, maybe. So groups supportive of Iran may target other U.S. interests overseas or locations associated with the United States and or Americans throughout the world. So that's what they're worried about. So that's what they're worried about. That's pretty much it on Iran war. U.S. renews strikes to swiftly punish Iran for the deaths of 2 Americans. So it's pretty much it on that. On to the next story. If anybody sees anything about that channel that got 1,500 gift memberships has never gotten paid by YouTube, probably. So I'd be worried about it. I'm so sick of people criticizing Trump. I would go ballistic with all those lies. Yeah, you know. We target military and dual use infrastructure. They target people. Definition of terror. Yeah. Don't think the gifts went through either. Probably not. Streamers make a lot of money. That's why everybody has a channel. Some streakers make a lot of money. I mean, Joe says, we are in a world war. Just think of it as World War II, so we don't think we are. We just think of it as World War II, so we don't think we are. What is needed to reach the goal is completely open question. No one knows, not even the mullahs. Yeah, I mean, if they stopped doing something, I guess maybe if they stopped attacking shit and actually wanted peace, things could be great. You know. So Trump administration is going to fund maga-aligned projects in Europe as he reorders the USAID or USAID, whatever. So the Trump administration is preparing to unveil a series of grants in Europe and beyond to support MAGA-aligned initiatives in pursuance of a dramatic overhaul of the U.S. foreign aid priorities. We had an Amber Alert for a 4-year-old. Our cops are too busy handing out Narcan. Oh, man. Critter Center, hit the thumbs up, peeps, and have a grand night. Well, thank you. Thank you. You're just getting started. No, I know. The channel's just starting out. I was just saying, like, you know, it's actually, if you know and you talk to people, it's a very small group of people that make a lot of money, streamers. And it does, you know, usually it's like a very short-lived. They stay peak and then they drop off. Yes, but what is needed for them to do is an open question. Yeah. We complain about Iran striking back at us, but why should we expect them not to do anything and everything they can to maintain power? Yeah, but the thing is, like, they said there was a deal, all right, and then they start attacking ships again. That's, you know, you can't let them get away with it because then you can't. So the proposed grants include $2 million to counter censorship stemming from EU regulations, including the Digital Service Act and the Digital Markets Act. Reports it citing a State Department notice sent to lawmakers. Reuters could not immediately verify the report. So that's the story. That's the story they have. Trump to fund maga-aligned projects. Is what they're saying. That's it. The Trump administration officials want to use human rights aid to advocate for white South Africans and right-wing causes. So this is coming from the left here, from ProPublica. So this is a left-wing source. All right. The proposed grants include free speech organization that has fought against bans on gay conversion therapy and an Afrikaner group that promotes self-governance. Oh, you don't say so. Somebody who supports self-governance they're against. And Instagram is gone already. Wow. That's ridiculous. I think I'm just going to stop streaming Instagram. It doesn't make any sense. 1 hour. I agree. We aren't dealing with people we can never trust. Yeah. Iran doesn't keep their word. That's right. Did we obliterate Iran yet? Mother effers. We're doing it right now, Eclectic Deb. It's happening as we speak, from what I understand. I was told to accept it. Can you say indoctrination? Yeah. It's like the RAV. I finally talked them into opening up gift memberships, told them to start, but they said at $5.99. Now a few people give. The white South Afrikaners are better citizens. Yes. Yes, I haven't gotten one in a while. Okay. All we can do is kill them, but remember, roaches run. Have you covered the Taco Bell stuff? It's in tonight's stack. It's been in a couple stories. They banned the company's called Taylor Fresh Farms or something like Taylor Family Farms or something like that out of California. So we'll get into it. So for decades, the U.S. Department of State gave money to groups protecting free speech and human rights and persecuted minorities in poor and authoritarian countries. So here's the problem. They're making this sound like a bad thing. The white Afrikaners are a persecuted minority in an authoritarian country. To decide what to fund, staffers with deep expertise typically poured over reams of information on abuses under the most repressive regimes and held an open competition to fund the groups. This year, Trump officials presented State Department workers with their own list of organizations that should be funded. Yeah, you don't say that the government, the president gets to decide what groups he wants to fund. Wow. To the shock of many, they proposed at least a dozen grants that would bypass the normal open bidding process. They also sought to give taxpayer dollars to groups aligned with conservative and anti-immigration movements in Europe, as well as advocates for white South Africans. So they're just admitting that they are racist because, you can't give it to white people. You see, you can't do anything for white people. It's the pickers shitting in the fields. Yeah. That's what I say. It's tied to Mexico, they said. So among the organizations appointees have considered in recent months are British Free Speech Organization. Okay. An Afrikaner group run by a figure who's called for self-governance of the ethnic minority within South Africa. But wait, you said you were supposed to give money to minorities. Huh. This type of giving would mark a stark departure from the traditional aid that helped torture victims and documented rapes and political violence. Yeah, the aid was going to left-wing causes to promote communism and other shit and all over, and we're not doing that anymore. One new program with 4.9 million available to groups to develop civilizational self-confidence in Europe is slated for research conferences and cultural engagements. The call for proposals says recipients should not attempt to reform the legislative processes, but experts and lawmakers have expressed concern that the U.S. is seeking to influence politics in allied countries. That's all we do. That's what the money is for, to influence the politics. What is going on? People are constantly trying to influence our politics. I love my iceberg lettuce, but buy it from a local store. The emphasis on Western nation was evident in the grant the State Departments have been working on. So good. Renewing our Judeo-Christian culture and civilization is a mission. After pushback from Congress, the State Department abandoned those plans in recent days. Why? Who would Congress push back? I want to know. Those people need to be run out of office. Why would we want to preserve our culture and way of life? As long as the Iranian regime is in power, any deal is like the fable about the farmer and the viper. Yeah, agree. Yo, what's up? Good to be here, again. Yes, grow your own vegetables in containers if you don't have a yard. Max shitting in the fields has been happening for decades. I remember reports in the 90s. Yes, E. coli and all that stuff, remember? And this guy says, I've never seen U.S. funding for such groups. Oh, It's crossing the Rubicon. Oh, so it's crossing the Rubicon to support free speech and white people. See how these people are? Our review of proposed grants shows several are being directed to more traditional human rights purposes, but even some of those have raised concerns. Strict agency rules have long required an open bidding process. Whatever. None of the justifications appear to apply here. The situation is all more concerning because Trump officials handpicked the recipients. Good. We should be picking who gets the money. Why would we not pick who gets the money? This is ridiculous. Yeah, the Dems are racist. They are. It's not good governance to have political appointees give grants to individuals. What? That's who's supposed to give the money then? People that have people that are not responsible at all to the voting public. That's who we want to decide where our money goes. Are these people crazy? Hey, what's up? State Department did not answer when asked. During private briefing, members of Congress expressed concern about the list of potential recipients and the plan to award no bid or limited bid to grants. Response to a line of questioning, the programs are still in active deliberation. And a grant is not guaranteed to any organization. Wow. Better question is, when are people going to realize the only way to do that is to invade the country? The Taylor Farms is the same farms responsible for Chipotle E. coli in 2015. Yeah, go figure. We should be handpicking immigrants and foreign aid. That's a duh. Yeah, no shit. Not like letting experts pick. In the Navy, our ship went dead in the water for 3 days. We lost all our food. Finally got the boilers filed up and continued on to Taiwan. Wow. Gene Shaheen, a demon rat from New Hampshire, said that Congress expects the State Department to invest resources to advance human rights, democratic institutions, civil society, and freedom of expression, and workers' rights. The proposals are an appalling departure from the practice. So it's only if it's non-white people that they can do this stuff. So these awards suggest the department intends to award federal funding based on political ideology, not in the interest of. How is it not in the interest of American taxpayers to support Americans' interests? This doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, Spuds with 5 says rally time, rally time. Thank you, Spuds, for the 5. With that 5, folks, we're now just 25 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Spuds. So yeah, so this is just ridiculous. These people. So Iran warns of full-scale offensive as strikes enter 7th night. So this is, this is the Akadaka Iranians saying, they're going to go for full-scale war. Our purchasing officer went ashore and bought fresh veggies, beautiful tomatoes. We ate all at our fill. The next morning, we all had diarrhea. Oh, man. The Taiwanese use human shit for fertilizer. Oh, gross. Eclectic Deb says, thank you, Jim. Freedom of speech lives on this channel. Well, thank you. I try my best. We are currently 20, thanks to Eclectic Deb, just 20 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. The Taiwanese were used to it. It's freaking me out having a certain dream telling certain stuff. Well, sometimes those dreams can be prophetic. Anytime a Dem says we need to back American interests, it means globalist interests. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. To join Guy channel membership, at least on Android, go to the channel page. It's to the right of the subscribe button. Well, thank you, Kofi. Wow. They just use little kids. Iranians use little kids. The U.S. launched another round of strikes on Friday as Tehran warned of a broader retaliation. Iran has also reported that 2 oil tankers caught fire. Well, that's because they shot missiles at them. The latest strikes marked the 7th consecutive night. Well, now we're in our 8th night. Strikes came after Iran expanded attacks against U.S. allies in the region, missile and drone attacks on Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, and Jordan. So Moshe Razeh, a senior IRGC official, said Iran's supreme leader warned that they can move to a full-scale offensive. Oh, I guess if we go into kick moderator deleted that comment. What comment? What are you talking about? I don't have a kick moderator. What do you mean? Why would the kick moderator? I don't even have, what is AI mod? What? Oh my God. That's ridiculous. Class A biosolids. Tomato seeds survive the sewage treatment plants. I have a Chinese friend who said they carried their human waste to school to be used as fertilizer. She said she tripped one time and ended up covered in it. Oh my Lord. Vince says, I'm at the airport waiting to pick someone up and get their checked bag, so I got a couple hours. Well, be safe. Yeah, about the membership, that's ridiculous. It came up here, though. I don't know. American First's public support for the U.S. war with Iran is historically low, with recent polling indicating only 27 to 36% support the conflict. Well, yeah, auto moderator. I don't understand that. People should care about this. They should. He said a weird last dream. I warned about and it's been seen months since I had another dream. You warned about Nephilim? Used to be able to get stuff left at the sewage plant for your garden, but tomatoes would come up automatically. Oh, wow. What's it say? Earthquake 4.9 in Iran or a big boom. Oof. I wonder, maybe they were testing something. Wow. I hope it wasn't a test. Maybe it was a big boom of ours. Maybe something went off. And then with this, folks.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you, Dan. Goal. With that, folks, that means we are now $100 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. So thank you so much, everybody. I don't remember anyone asking me about wars. Yes, thank you for your help. That's right. Thank you. You don't see people planting their gardens on top of their septic piles. Yeah. Let's see. So 51 minutes ago, Western Iran, Iraq-Iran border. 52 minutes ago, Central Peru. So one about the same time in Peru and in a let's do this real quick. This says 4.8, 51 minutes ago. This looks like the area where they had their nuclear stuff almost was in this area. Like right here. Iran-Iraq border region, this over here. So Defzul, Iraq, Avaz, Iraq, Iran. I'm sorry. Iran. So I don't know. But it's weird because it says 4.8, 4.9, and then 5.5 in Central Peru all at like the same time. And one in Pakistan 8 hours ago. Oh, interesting. So if the U.S. attacks continue for another 2-3 days, we'll enter a phase of full-scale offensive operations. So Kick must not like when people give money to YouTube. It must be. South Mexico and Guatemala got 2 5+ aftershocks. Yeah, that was a big, wasn't it like a 7 something? Something like that. Lucky number 7 says, you're welcome. I click like if that helps. That does help, lucky number 7. I really appreciate it when everyone hits like. I appreciate when everyone hits the subscribe button. We really like that. We're trying to grow this channel. When the channel hits 10,000 subs, we are going to do a 24-hour stream of something. So that's what we like. So Operation Rolling Thunder 2 on Tehran would possibly be a start to end of this. Yes, Mustang, that would probably start the end of this. You think the Chinese do? I heard Chinese in China grow their garlic in sewage waste, and before they export it to Sam's, they wash the garlic with Clorox, but who knows? Oh, God. Walking to PT, found 2 tiny tomatoes growing edge of CVS, took 2 ripish ones, hope they sprout. Yeah. Like tomatoes, them tomatoes pretty much, unless they're like, 7.3 on the 17th. Yeah. I think all this bombing affects our Earth's plates, a lot of earthquakes. It's more the sun affects the earthquakes, I think. Solar radiation, and it's like a lot of ties to basically it's the sun, I think. 24-hour stream, you'll never pull that off. I think I will. That's why Sam's garlic is really white. Okay. Iran has focused much on its retaliation on the U.S. partners in the Gulf. Kuwait said Iranian missiles and drones injured several military personnel on Friday, while authorities reported a fire at a power generation and water desalination facility following the attacks. The fightings also raised concern over commercial shipping through the strait. 2 oil tankers caught fire after attempting to pass through a section of the strait where mines were located. So they're still putting mines in. E. coli is a bacteria. Not everyone is a carrier. You got to love the NWO beast system. Yeah. So IRGC described the waterway as highly unsafe and completely closed. Oh, okay. Well, that's because they keep putting mines. So anybody going out there, we should probably just be blowing up any of their boats. Marine traffic showed 6 vessels transit the waterway during the previous 24 hours. U.S. strikes have focused on sites connected to Iran's military capabilities and its ability to monitor shipping in the region. Never buy the scrubbed white garlic from China. It's all chemicals. Okay. CENTCOM said American forces destroyed an IRGC surveillance tower at Chabahar Shahid Kalantari port on Iran's southeastern coast, saying the facility was used to track and target commercial vessels. Sun flares, yes. Iranian officials said the U.S. strikes also hit bridges and other infrastructure. That's what we're hearing. CNN reported that Iran state media said at least 8 people were killed and 20 others wounded in strikes on bridges in the Hormozgan province. Those casualty figures could not be independently verified. So the latest developments came after Trump said their ceasefire was over. Over. So then it says Iran threatens unforgettable message or something like that. Full-scale operations, what Iran's threatening. So let's see here. I know you guys don't like Fox, but this is what it is.
All right, now to the Middle East. The U.S. striking Iran for the 7th straight night, hammering key coastal infrastructure targets.
The Iranians also carrying out attacks on America's Gulf allies as the regime threatens to carry out a full-scale offensive.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the details. Good morning, Maddie.
Hi, good morning. That's right, guys. The U.S. and Iran are accusing each other of now attacking civilian targets. The U.S. has hit roads and bridges around Bandar Abbas, a strategic port city near the Strait of Hormuz. Their aim is to isolate the IRGC from resupplying. CENTCOM touted the destruction of one observation tower in particular, which they say significantly weakens the IRGC's ability to coordinate attacks on ships. The U.S. is denying Iran's claim that it's hitting civilian infrastructure, arguing it's been striking military targets with one goal in mind.
I think what we're in the process of doing is making it impossible for the regime to control the Strait of Hormuz from that same landmass, from the islands, from the littoral area that borders the strait itself, and then further inland where the roads and bridges and railroads are at. Your ability to move supplies not only around the country, but into and out of the country.
On the other hand, the U.S. says Iran has been the bad actor, carrying out these attacks on civilian ships and damaging a water desalination plant in Kuwait. Iran is refusing to back down, carrying out retaliatory attacks on U.S. targets in the Gulf region. An advisor to Iran's supreme leader saying if U.S. strikes continue for several more days, we will move into a phase of full-scale offensive operations. But as Iran tries to assert control over the Strait of Hormuz, CENTCOM is refuting the regime's claim that 2 oil tankers were sunk. CENTCOM saying, like most IRGC claims, this is false. Nevertheless, oil prices have spiked as a result of the tit-for-tat. Iran's currency taking a hit too, though, as it plunges to a record low against the U.S. dollar. Charlie, Lara, and Griff.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie.
Certainly the economic conditions.
So, yes, Signs of Life says, grow your own victory garden. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Thank you for being here. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. I have a bunch of scapes I harvest every spring, early summer. They freeze well. Fresh horseradish is good. Oh, I love horseradish. I love it.
Conditions in Iran are absolutely devastating. It's, I think, the over 1.9 million reals to the $1 US. Serious pressure, but certainly no hope whatsoever that that the peace deal that they were working on is going to work at this point.
Yeah, but I think people have to also remember these are not reasonable people, right? That we're dealing with in Iran, and I think the president deserves so much credit for what he's actually been able to do. Look, if this was easy, previous presidents would have done it, but this president has taken it on. Obviously, now they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They're not going to be able to develop a nuclear weapon at this point, which is great for the whole world. But you look at where they are right now. Yes, they're economically, in dire straits, but they really are so depleted otherwise. The president always talks about the fact that their military is so depleted. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have strategically taken out their missile production sites, their missile sites. All of it has lent itself to a place where I think the U.S. is in the best position to see something positive happen here. It was never going to be easy. It was never going to be clean. But, then they put out statements like, oh, we're going to go on the offensive with what?
Right.
It's kind of, you expect it to be a lot of lies from these
No, that's
people.
exactly right, Laura. I mean, remember Baghdad Bob during the early days of the Iraq War saying, we've got him right where we want him. And of course, that was all propaganda. Yeah. That's what you're seeing out of the IRGC. And the head of the IRGC, Ahmad Vahidi, who was originally the first commander of the Quds Force, going all the way back to the previous Ayatollah's regime, that now you are seeing the fact that when we had negotiators at the table in Pakistan and the foreign minister and the speaker of the parliament that were trying to do this memorandum of understanding, you had the IRGC and Vahidi that simply wasn't willing to stop. Yeah. And now we are at the Battle of Hormuz, and the bridges that were struck are in places like Bandar Abbas, which is along the strait, right? Bashur, the places we are hitting along here, and there's Bandar Abbas there. That is right along the strait because the IRGC was always saying that the cards they were holding were the control of the Strait of Hormuz. And so President Trump is saying, no, you're not going to get that. And you're right, they don't have anything to throw militarily at us. But one thing that I think the president gets a lot of credit is that he still is leaving the option on the table of cutting a deal. If you ultimately come back to the table, that's great, but we're not going to tolerate you to try and wage a battle for the Strait of Hormuz. And it's pretty clear that we're going to continue squeezing the grip on that.
Yeah,
there was some coming in over land. That's why they took down some of the bridges to cut the land routes off coming in from China and coming in from Russia. That's why some of the bridges. You got some nectarines. They're so bad, no flavor. What a waste. So fruit's one of them things, man. You want to get locally grown fruit if you can. It's always going to be the best. Like I grow pineapples. I love them. I can't get enough of the pineapples growing, and they grow like weeds, and they taste like nothing you ever got in a store. I'm gonna tell you right now, pineapples you get from the store taste nothing like pineapples you grow. They're so sweet, awesome tasting.
Clearly misjudged the president if they thought that because it was an election year that they could play games, because this is not a guy that cares about any of the normal things that a lot of politicians care about. If it is a job that needs to get done, he's going to get it done no matter what.
Yes.
He's going to get it done no matter what. And speaking of getting it done no matter what, the D.C. Circuit has temporarily allowed the Postal Service to move forward with its proposed election mail rule requiring states to submit voter lists and serialized ballot barcodes before the post office will mail federal ballots, staying the district court's order. That's right. The panel said the Postal Service is likely to win for two independent reasons. The challenger is likely premature because it targets a proposed, not final rule, and even if adopted, the rule would not violate the Postal Service's 2021 settlement with the NAACP. Why does the Postal Service have a settlement with the NAACP? Why does that even make any sense? Like, what? What does the NAACP have anything to do with that? You love pineapples too, but you have to get them from stores. You've seen burying logs under garden to provide fertilizer and hold water, a couple feet under the garden. Yes. You love hearing Jim talk about his pineapples. Well, I'm just saying. I also like tomato. I like to grow tomatoes too and cucumbers because I like to make my own pickles. And I like cucumbers and stuff and beans and everything. So, yes, thank you, Lurch Singer. Thank you. Are you hacking Jim's pineapple again? No, it's just it's really good stuff. So, Circuit Court approves United States Postal Service change with big mail-in ballot implications. So the Washington, D.C. Court of Appeals ruled that the Postal Service can move ahead for now with the rule change with major implications for mail-in ballot reform. The court granted the motion for a stay in the case of the NAACP v. United States Postal Service. Your okra is growing like crazy. Yeah, sometimes I grow okra here too. I like fried okra, but okra, sometimes okra doesn't is like one of them things. If it gets too much water, it'll die. So. Florida is the best place to grow sweet potatoes, mangoes, sugar cane, etc. from what I've seen. Yeah. You have corrugated pineapple. Issue is fruit pups off the fruit if not root zip. Flavor is a bit tart. Well, no, I don't do anything. I leave the pups go because the pups pop out, and each one of those pups will be a new pineapple. Like they grow underneath it. Like I planted a bunch of pineapples. The first, like within about 9 months, I had a pineapple on the plant, but then you have these pups coming off the bottom. You let them, people say pop them off. I don't. I let them grow. And then each one of those becomes another pineapple. They just spread like weeds. Like the second year of a plant, I get like 5 or 6 pineapples off that plant. I used to make pineapple knives and cores at the saw shop in San Francisco. Yeah. And then also like the pineapples that you grow, like that I grow, you can almost eat all the core. Like it ripens up when it gets you don't let it get perfectly yellow. You want it to be a little bit of green. Otherwise it's really too ripe. But then the core, like most of the core is edible. You can eat the core even. When I was in Homestead, our landlord, one day he planted 6 mango plants. And soon I saw the mangoes showing up. Yeah. Oh, you're variegated. You can't variegated. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind. These are just pineapples that I got from the store. I cut the tops off and planted them, and they grew. Mango sounds good right now. Yeah, the neighbor's got a huge mango tree. I can get any mangoes I want. Just go take. He gives them away because it's a huge mango tree. It's hundreds of mangoes a year. The sweet potatoes grown in Imperial, California are turned into sugar. So the court granted the stay based on the strength of the appellant's argument. In other words, the court agreed that the Postal Service was likely going to win the case based on the Constitution. Ever burned your tongue eating too much pineapple? No, not these. Like if you can from the store, but the ones here, like this, they're not really. They're just slightly tart, like just a little bit tart, but not acidic at all. Like. Oh, meaning the pups grow off the fruit, eating the fruit. No, these grow under the pineapple. They come out like out of the bottom. Like the pineapple comes up, it gets like a stalk here, and you have the pineapple sitting there, and then below it you'll get shoots. They call them pups coming off. They come off like underneath it. These little pups come off, but each one of those becomes a pineapple. Been visiting family, getting settled. Good evening, my fellow anti-communists. Thank you. You've burned your tongue? Yeah. Pups, stolen volunteer plants. I don't know. So the first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District said the ruling's a win for election integrity. Will have significant implications for states like California that refuse to submit voter rolls to verify compliance with federal election laws. You had pineapple in Hawaii, very different flavor. Yeah, from what I understand, and I don't know, someone told me that they inject something into the pineapple, like the pineapples that get shipped to be sold in stores, that they inject something in them to keep them from ripening while they're shipping and everything. And then once they get here, they inject something else that neutralizes it. And that's why, so I don't know, volcanic soil. Yeah. So the decision came July 17th, the day after President Trump revealed disturbing evidence of the mass election fraud in the United States. Both domestic actors and foreign actors are doing it. One of the areas Trump emphasized is an extreme vulnerability to manipulate through mail-in ballots. All the U.S. Postal Service is attempting to do is demand from states certain data and certain envelopes related to mail-in ballots in order to ensure the most secure chain of custody and fewer opportunities for falsified ballots. The NAACP is screeching and wailing about it, but all it is doing is displaying its own determination to facilitate fraud. The only reason one would be horrified at the requirement for submission of voter lists and serialized ballot barcodes is if one knows that there's some hanky-panky going on and wants to ensure it continues. The exact quote from the circuit court is, appellants have made a strong showing that they will succeed on their two arguments. Finally, the record and any countervailing harm to an appealee and the public does not outweigh the success on the two most critical state factors. The Dole plantation is mostly shipped to Asia. The pineapple we get is mainly from the Philippines. It's very important language going forward because the D.C. Circuit of all places has lent legitimacy to the arguments in a case that could be crucial as the Trump administration seeks to close fraud loopholes for the midterm election this November. Are Florida oranges making a comeback? I don't know. The Dole plantations in Hawaii. Yeah. The Florida oranges, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been to the orange juice factory. There's a place called the Orange Juice Factory that does like Indian River or stuff they have, and it's the best orange juice you can get because it's completely, fresh squeezed orange juice and stuff, and lemon juice. You get lemonade there. It's awesome. The commies are driving you crazy. Absolutely can't stand any of them. Me too. Soil matters. Yeah. So China created fake driver's license to get fraudulent mail-in ballots for Joe Biden. Oh, what do you know? Didn't I say that? Wow. Well, that's what we were talking about. You love oranges. They haven't been good. Yeah. Well, there was you got to get the Brondo. The plants crave Brondo. Yes, they have, because it has electrolytes. It's what plants crave. You're going to give them water like from a toilet. But anyway, there was a orange blossom blight that came from Asia, China specifically, that was wiped out a lot of our orange crop in Florida for many years. I don't know. I think it's coming back. Yeah, so they did this. We can only pray the Trump administration ends up winning the case. Otherwise, the demon rats and the Chinese Chi-Coms will keep stealing more and more of our elections. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. D.C. Circuit clears the way for the Postal Service to enforce President Trump's requirement that states must turn over voter rolls for citizenship checks, or the Postal Service won't deliver the mail-in ballots. Womp womp. That's what you call womp womp. Department of Homeland Security, Social Security Administration, and the Postal Service are going to work together to verify citizenship and prevent ineligible voters from receiving and casting ballots in federal elections. It requires states to submit detailed manifests, including voter names and addresses. The blight was on purpose. No, I know it was. Yeah, I know it was. Correction, not solons, root suckers, pineapple cultivation, not a thing around here. Not enough humidity. Okay. Too many people moving to Florida. I'm afraid of the agriculture there. I hope they won't get rid of agricultural land to build houses. You love learning new things. Politics is for the birds. Yes. More Florida orange groves, less development. Yeah. Well, oranges for me been hit and miss, so I get the bottle with pulp, light mix with club soda or sparkling water. Lurch Slinger says, I watched a show about pink pineapple. Now I want to try one. Yeah. They ship all our good stuff to other countries and buy the shit from Mexico for the U.S. Yeah, a lot of it does come from Mexico, Costa Rica, other places like that. States that refuse to hand over the lists or follow the new security standards will simply not have their ballots delivered by the Postal Service. In June, the Postmaster General told Congress flat out that the Postal Service will not deliver mail-in or absentee ballots in any state that refuses to comply with the federal president's election integrity executive order. We are raised like cattle now. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. Not good. And the next story is about the Commie Mandami. That's right, the Commie Mandami. All right. Zohar Madami says he's in active conversation with city lawyers about arresting Benjamin Netanyahu because he belongs in The Hague. The U.S. does not even recognize the International Criminal Court's legitimacy, but the Islamic Marxist ruler of New York wants his own foreign policy. Just last week, they tried to meet with the Iranian ambassador before the State Department interceded to block the meeting. This guy, he should be being investigated. He really should. Yes. While the U.S. does not recognize a criminal court, the Marxist ruler does. He's considering arresting Netanyahu.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is perhaps planning to visit New York for the UN General Assembly. You pledged during your campaign and after you won to order his arrest to comply with the International Criminal Court warrant. What will happen if he comes in September?
Look, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
What does the law allow you to do?
That's an active conversation with our legal department in seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality. However, what we've seen at the national level is a desire sometimes to write your own laws, to go outside of the bounds of legality. That's not something we have an interest in.
I mean, normally when people come to a UN General Assembly, they're granted a sort of amnesty because it is the seat of the United Nations. Is that what you're thinking that you'll honor, or you're actively looking to see if you can actually arrest him?
I think we are looking at all of our legal obligations, and one of them is with regards to the United Nations. But the other part of this is we're not talking about a personal assessment of Benjamin Netanyahu. We're talking about the International Criminal Court and the fact that they have a warrant out for this prime minister's arrest. And I think it's important to talk about the weight that that has as a charge, and also that as the mayor of New York City.
It has no weight in the United States of America, all right? It has zero weight. We are a sovereign country. We have our own laws. We have our own constitution. This guy should be denaturalized and deported, like, immediately. You know, the best thing about the left is they want to have no borders. Yes, he should be booted out of our country for sure, definitely. Mandami's a communist anti-Semite. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I want him so bad for that idiot to give the order to NYPD to arrest Bibi. I dare you. Yeah. That would be really funny. The laws in New York City, not the United States, freaking commie. Yeah, that's he's got his own country. He can do his own thing. That's right. What a waste of space, definitely. Meaning he plans to be opportunist and secretive. That's right. His shitting and grin is putrid. It sure is. I'm no fan of Bibi, but I'd love to see Kamar Mandami try it. He's making up shit as he goes along. It would be an international incident, and he would end up in prison. Mandami would end up in prison. Yes, the International Criminal Court has no jurisdiction inside the United States. That's correct. We don't adhere to it at all. So Mandani has some mandate for foreign policy as mayor? No, he doesn't. Those voted for this turd should be forced to live with him in Uganda. Yes, that would be a good idea. Write our own laws. Why even say not constitutional? Yes. Dear God, I'm trying not to hate. Mandami sure makes it difficult not to hate. Yeah. Almost want him to try it just to see how fast he gets clapped. Yeah, like it would basically be kidnapping. Basically kidnapping. Yeah. New York Times, Lulu Garcia. I would just like to understand what a humane border policy looks like for you. Mandami says, I don't believe that secure and humane are at odds. I don't believe you only need to provide immigration enforcement is through ICE. So let's hear it. This is going to talk about the border and stuff. And
I'm trying to understand what your idea of the border would be, because obviously the people you endorsed in federal races will have an impact on any legislation to do with the border. And the Democratic Party, has struggled gaining support over its border policies, considering what happened under the Biden administration, where you had, the border, as some would describe it, being overrun, millions of people coming in an unauthorized fashion. And that had impacts here in New York City. A lot of the city was overstretched, resources were overrun, and it made people very unhappy. So again, I would just like to understand what a humane border policy looks like for you.
I don't believe that secure and humane are at odds. I don't believe that the only way to provide immigration enforcement is through ICE. I think oftentimes we are forced into these false choices.
But would you have asylum seekers be able to, for example, ask for asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border?
What is the law today? What are they legally entitled to do?
The law today, under President Trump, the law today is that they're not.
But in terms of international obligations, in terms
and that
of
is meant that the border has seen a dramatic drop in illegal crossings. So I guess that is the tension that a lot of people see.
I think that
actually the mayor has direct power of the NYPD, so they would have to quit in order to honor Trump. Ugandan-born, Ugandan-born Islamo-communist is what he is. He is so phony. He has the "if I talk slow, I sound smarter" act. Yeah. Well, thank you, AI World Champ. No, you're the real AI World Champ. Thank you. How does he not know? He's the one bringing it up. What a stooge. Yeah. The law under Trump. No, the law is the law. Trump is just enforcing the law. It's crazy. It is that they keep saying these things as they get away with it. Mandami's ridiculous commie. Yes. Legally entitled to, not an effing thing. That's right. He's like, oh, they're legally. The law is a first safe country. Yeah. So oh, no, he thinks it's just to get to America. That's what they think. Mandami should have his citizenship revoked and be sent to Wakanda, or perhaps the sun at night. That's right. So Mandami attempting to illegally arrest a foreign leader in New York City would lead to a deadly standoff between the Secret Service agents who protect visiting foreign leaders and the NYPD. It's time for the Trump Justice Department to open a criminal probe on Mandami's conspiracy. Yes. Not under Trump, stupid. The law has been there way before him. Trump's just enforcing the law. Yeah. They would be shot by the Secret Service if they did anything to Trump. Yeah, well. He was an Indian anchor baby in Uganda. Then his folks moved here. Yeah. And if they tried anything on Trump, the Marines would take New York. Probably. Yeah, continuing to feed him rope, he will hang himself. So he's considering arresting Bibi. That's right. You want border enforcement like Poland does. Yeah. Mandami arguably violated 18 U.S.C. 875 and 18 U.S.C. 878 with the statement it should be placed under immediate federal investigation. Yeah. Well, yeah, if they're having an active conversation with their legal department about performing their own foreign policy, their own actions, this is giving aid and comfort to everyone in the United States. This falls under treason, in my opinion. He did swear an oath when he became mayor, and violating that oath puts him under the punishments of treason. So, communist terrorist supporter planning to arrest the leader of Israel in New York City on behalf of terrorists and foreign entities. Yes, Mandami is effectively working as a hostile foreign agent on U.S. soil. Mandami says he's holding active conversations about arresting Benjamin Netanyahu during the UN General Assembly. Go figure. Netanyahu belongs in The Hague, Mandami said, referencing prison Shegevin in The Hague. In a wide-ranging interview, the New York Times' Lulu Garcia-Navarro asked Mandami would follow through with his campaign promise to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. If I was Trump, I would take Bibi to New York City. On the Quran, not on the Bible. Well, yeah, on the Quran, but still, whatever. We have to always be aware of the word games they use, even when pretending to be pushing back. It's not the laws under Trump; it's just the laws. Yeah, it's true. The ICC issued an arrest warrant in November against Netanyahu, alleging that he is responsible for war crimes and starvation as a method of warfare. Since October 8th, 2023. So it wasn't, what was it? Wasn't it October 7th, 2023 when Hamas attacked or Hamas killed all those people? So the day after they charged him. Oh, okay. So I believe Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal. Also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's importance to follow the law as the leader who presides over our city. Madami makes as much sense as mayor of New York City as Zelensky does as president of Ukraine. Oaths mean nothing to socialists. Yes. Have Bibi give a speech about the dangers of primitive, barbaric religions like Islam outside the UN. Madami promised to free daycare, but only city personnel get it, right? No, only people that voted for him. That's the thing. Like the borough that voted for him didn't vote for him. Staten Island didn't get it at all. Nobody in Staten Island can get it because they didn't vote for him. It's very strange. Like that's things that the Civil Rights Division should be looking into. Wait, how can you have a program, but you say you're giving it to all the city, but you did it to 4 out of 5 boroughs, but not the one that didn't vote for you? Huckle and Madami have the ability to use the New York State Police and NYPD as paramilitary units to protect New York and New York City. Huckle has successfully defied SCOTUS, so don't underestimate her. Hillary's in her corner. Well, that would be called basically a sedition, insurrection, civil war. So if that's what they want, yeah. So he explained that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws on that end. When asked what the law allows, he said he's engaged in active conversation with the legal department to find out what the prospects are. What we've seen at the national level is a desire to sometimes write your own laws to go outside the bounds of legality. He further stated that Netanyahu won't be immune because of his participation in the General Assembly. We're talking about the International Criminal Court and the fact they have a warrant. I think it's important to talk about the weight that it has as a charge. So as the mayor of New York City, I'll be following the laws of New York City. Israel Consul General in New York responded to the threat, saying Madami has no authority to do any such thing. Instead of dealing with matters of which he has authority, it would be better for him to start running New York City and only New York City. So there's that. And then also, Madami shows he's clueless when asked about the border because he says that he can only attack ICE, admits he's never been to the border. Huckle's little Napoleon. Yeah, they make a fitting pair. So, while noting that one of Madami's endorsed candidates rejects all deportations, even of violent criminals, and refers to borders as a philosophical concept, how do you view, for example, the issue of border security? Madami gave word salad answer and says that ICE is terrorizing Americans across the country. No, ICE is not terrorizing any Americans. He's a mayor, not the head of state. He can suck it. Yes, that's right. I didn't even watch the Macy's parade anymore. I think they canceled it this year. They didn't even do anything. They basically canceled everything for the 4th of July. When we talk about immigration, it's often bandied as just a political subject for debate. But Madami went on to outline that the only border policy he can understand is New York's a sanctuary city and will not comply with federal deportation operations. Have you ever been to the border? No, I never been to the border. Oh, good for him. So, yeah. So these people all need to be arrested. in my opinion. They're violating federal law. They're purposely doing things to try and make the country worse, not better. Since New York City convicted itself of being anti-American, I don't watch anything in New York. Yeah. The problem is that people believe what they say, and Trump not doing anything about it just fortifies their nonsense. Yeah. I should invite him on a tour of the border and just get him over the border and not allow him back in. I knows New York, something. So this is Ambassador Mike Waltz. Says, Mayor Man Dummy, you commie son of a bitch. Here's why your threat to arrest Prime Minister Netanyahu during the General Assembly is not going to happen. The U.S. is not party to the Rome Statute that underlies the ICC. The UN headquarters agreement grants diplomatic protections to visiting heads of government. A head of state immunity applies, and federal authority trumps any local mayor's wishes. This is pure political theater. After Rubio posted 5 days ago, the U.S. is not a part of the ICC, Mandami pulls this. He's undermining federal authority, and he knows it. The cancellation of Independence Day blows my freaking mind. Philadelphia with the Liberty Bell, and Boston where the Tea Party happened. It's crazy. Like, just because Trump's president, they don't want to celebrate the country's 250th anniversary. It was nuts. Those people need to stop. Let them do it. Yeah. So, and then this just came through. U.S. completes its 8th consecutive night of strikes. CENTCOM, they completed another round of strikes against Iran on July 18th. During the 8th night, CENTCOM forces hit Iranian military coastal surveillance and air defense facilities, maritime capabilities, missile drone storage sites, continued degrading Iran's military capability. American military assets also targeted IRGC forces that launched attacks against the U.S. service members in Jordan. More than 50,000 U.S. men and women in uniform are operating across the Middle East. They remain highly vigilant. So, oh, look at those bombs. Those look like 2,000-pound bombs. Ooh, is that Pickaxe Mountain? The official account. So there's that. And then next story, a Cuban dissident artist to go into exile in the U.S. after 5 years in prison. Huh. Big fireworks. Yep. Kick-ass mountain. Pickaxe Mountain is what it's called, I think. So this is this organizer of the OO Biennial. The mainstream media is saying the fireworks for 4th of July frightened people. Geez, I didn't see a little boy crying, but it was because he couldn't get a picture in time and not because he was scared. Yeah. Cuban dissident artist Luis Manuel Arturo Alcantara is expected to travel to the United States in the coming days after completing a 5-year prison sentence, according to a message posted to his family on Facebook. U.S. Embassy official in Havana confirmed that he's been granted humanitarian parole and said the embassy was working to support his travel as soon as possible. The co-founder of the opposition San Isidro movement was detained on July 11, 2021, amidst the largest anti-government protests in Cuba in decades. He was convicted of offenses including desecration of national symbols, contempt, and public disorder, and spent 5 years in the Guanaje prison near Havana. Cuban authorities previously offered the artist the option of leaving the country in exchange for release, an alternative that he repeatedly rejected. However, in 2024 interview with El País, he acknowledged that he was reconsidering the exile. I never thought about leaving, but the regime argues there is no option for me to walk Cuban streets because of the danger they have made people believe I represent. The case of him and rapper Michael Castillo, known as Azorbo, who is serving an 8-year prison sentence, has been a reoccurring source of diplomatic tension between Washington and Havana. Earlier this month, U.S. Ambassador Michael Waltz criticized Cuba's human rights record during an address at the UN General Assembly and displayed images and names of political prisoners, including Otero Alcantara. The news of his imminent departure comes days after supporters filed a habeas corpus petition with the Havana Provincial People's Court. Namely, Ramos, an activist and close friend of the artist who lives in the United States, said in a Facebook post that he spent several days at an undisclosed location in Cuban state custody after completing his 5-year sentence and leaving Guanajay prison. Cuban authorities did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The Cuban government maintains that those in prison following the July 11th protests had committed crimes such as arson or public disorder, and they were not imprisoned for political activism. Oh, sure they weren't. Iran is the United Kingdom's fault. President Peanut Carter was weak. Make Persia great again. Look at the photos before 78. Yeah, it was a great place. Time magazine included him on their list of the world's most 100 influential people after his arrest. This guy's coming into exile in the United States. Another Afro-Cuban. I wonder if he'll join the Proud Boys, like the other Afro-Cuban leader. Hold on a second. So Taco Bell ditches lettuce nationwide after a massive multi-state outbreak. FDA traces illness to supplier from Mexico as more than 1,600 fall sick and 90 plus hospitalized. Wow. Wow. That's crazy, right? Crazy. Crazy that there's that many people. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh. Hold on. We'll do this first. We'll do this one first because they have some new. They have a news story about explosive diarrhea.
Federal officials are linking lettuce supply to Taco Bell locations in 5 states to that massive outbreak of a stomach parasite that has sickened thousands of people. The CDC warning the public not to eat shredded iceberg lettuce from Taco Bell in those states. The officials are investigating whether there's more than just the one source. Correspondent Nancy Liu is live with all the details. So, Nancy, how widespread is this outbreak?
Well, Nicole, there are cases in over 30 states. The California supplier said to be linked to the outbreak has yet to publicly comment, but at many locations, Taco Bell has already stopped using lettuce from Taylor Farms, which is based in Central California. According to the CDC and FDA, over 1,600 people who got sick with cyclospora reported eating at Taco Bell, and nearly 100 people have required hospitalization. It's suspected the case numbers could go up since cyclospora has a long incubation period and lab confirmation can take up to 6 weeks. While the multi-state outbreak can be linked to shredded lettuce served at Taco Bell locations in Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and West Virginia, there are thousands of cyclospora infections reported all over the country with a very high concentration in Michigan. The FDA says they have traced the illness to a supplier in Mexico, where Taylor Farms does have a production plant, and they are working to determine if any contaminated product remains on the market.
It may be multiple sources now. It's spread in so many places. So this is going to be tough to get it under control. I hate to say this, but like lettuce is probably the biggest culprit. So like really, really wash your lettuce very, very carefully. If you can avoid it, you should avoid it.
Probably get
Now,
their beef from Mexico.
Cyclospora
Yeah.
cases, they are typically higher during the warm summer months, but this
Oh, I love Del
is the
Taco.
most significant
I love Del
outbreak
Taco. I
in
used to eat
years.
it all the time. when I was
Nicole?
in
So
California.
Nancy, Taylor Farms has been linked to previous outbreaks. What more can you tell us there?
Yeah, company's been in the news before. 2 years ago, Taylor Farms was linked to E. coli cases from sliced onions at McDonald's. And the company has also dealt with another cyclospora outbreak. That was back in 2013. The company supplies bagged lettuce to grocery stores and restaurants nationwide. It's unclear as of now how much of its product is affected. Nicole?
All right, Nancy Lou, live.
Yes, beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So eat those beans at every meal. Del Taco has great fries. Have to ask for no salt, though. Yes. They do anything and risk anything to make a few bucks. Yes, they do. So Taco Bell ditches lettuce nationwide after the massive multi-state outbreak. So how do you get a Taco Supreme? You get no lettuce. What do they even put on it? Even to destroy American businesses to make a few bucks. Yes. Explosive diarrhea epidemic strikes Taco Bell customers. And it's not the normal explosive diarrhea that you get just from eating Taco Bell. This is worse. This is worse than just a standard Taco Bell, stuff. So the CDC and FDA issued an urgent multi-state warning to customers: do not eat shredded lettuce from Taco Bell locations. What started as a creeping health crisis has exploded into a full-blown national disaster, leaving unbelievable 1,644 people infected with a horrific explosive diarrhea-causing parasite known as cyclospora. Del Taco has better beans than Taco Bell. Yes. Gain of function squirts, definitely. Yeah, that's right. According to the FDA, most people infected with develop diarrhea with frequent bowel movements. Other common symptoms include loss of appetite, weight loss, stomach cramps, pain, bloating, increased gas, nausea, and fatigue, vomiting, body aches, headache, fever, maybe also be noted. Some people who are infected do not have any symptoms. Diarrhea grande. Yes, a shit show at Taco Bell. That's right, Duck Fat. The Taco Bell shit show. I know constipated people intentionally go to Taco Bell for the remedy. Not now, though. Yeah, well, they don't. I mean, the normal run through from Taco Bell, this is a little more serious. One lady was going 40 times a day. Wow, that's insane. So if not treated, the illness may lead to dehydration and severe complications that may require higher levels of care. I wonder what they give you. Do they give you, Montezuma's Revenge coming to a town near you? Talk about a sore butt. Yes. Talk about a pain in the butt. Oh my God, Del Taco will make fresh picante for you, El Bandera. Daniel Clancy has rated the stream. Well, thank you, Mr. Clancy. Thank you so much for rating the stream. That is greatly appreciated. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Sounds like a colonoscopy prep. Yes. If you have explosive diarrhea, there's a shot the doctor can give you to stop it. I found out the nasty way. Oh, man. Jimothy. Hey, what's up, Dan? What are you doing? They do the stupid stuff on purpose. I think so. Now the normally contaminated lettuce is being handled by visitors. The word hygiene has no meaning. Yes. I got really sick from eating salad from Bojangles at once. Since then, I would never go to Bojangles. Well, that's the thing. You're only supposed to eat chicken from Bojangles. Chicken salad. Oh, never mind. That's it. So symptoms may seem to go away, then return one or more times. Immunocompromised persons may experience more severe illness or a longer duration, requiring complications with close medical attention. So, according to reports, 94 people have been hospitalized after consuming the tainted food. The outbreak is currently hammering 5 primary states, with local data suggesting the true scale could involve thousands more in up to 38 states. He had food poisoning once from seafood joint. It was explosive for both ends, totally exhausting. So where's the toxic produce coming from? They've traced it to contaminated iceberg lettuce from Mexico. Oh, Mexico, Montezuma's revenge. So Taco Bell issued a statement announcing it was immediately removing any lettuce from the supplier in selected states and pulling all lettuce from its nationwide supply chain, replacing it within 24 hours. The company said the health and safety of guests is their top priority. So what are they going to go with then? They're going to go with like a romaine lettuce from somewhere else? Order a taco salad. Yes. I'm just going to eat chocolate. It seems healthier. Wash your hands with soap too. That's right. That's right. He keeps writing the pages to make them perfect. His handwriting worse than a doctor. Sorry. My handwriting is okay. Blowing through several states, that is. Yes, thank you for the raid, Daniel. Yes, Daniel. Daniel's a good friend. So, supplier at the center of the nightmares, Taylor Farms, a massive conglomerate that's been repeatedly tied to major foodborne outbreaks in the past, including a 2024 E. coli linked to McDonald's onions and a 2013 parasite outbreak. I think that one in 2013 was the one that almost killed Chipotle, wasn't it? Like almost destroyed Chipotle's business. Mexico is suspected as source of explosive diarrhea. Wow. I'm sure that's not the first time that's been said. So, based on information by the FDA, Taylor Farms de Mexico is voluntarily removing all iceberg lettuce sourced from central Mexico. 7,000 people have been affected by the outbreak across 34 states. Tainted lettuce. They provide produce, including leafy greens and prepackaged salad kits to large fast food chains such as Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King, and Chipotle. So the supplier told Taco Bell's parent company, Yum Brands, as well as mega food distributor Cisco, to pull their lettuce from distribution. Taylor Farms recalling ingredients linked to explosive diarrhea parasite. California-based lettuce supplier told federal regulators was preparing to recall Tide. The scope of the recall is not immediately clear. So Taylor Farms, anything with Taylor Farms on it, don't ever eat. That's what I would say. Don't get it. Workers pack lettuce at Taylor's Farm in Guanajuato, Mexico. The move would mark the clearest sign yet of the source of the outbreak. Federal health officials linked the illnesses to a single supplier. Yeah. Shredded iceberg lettuce. Taylor Farms did not respond to a request for comments. So. All right. And then you guys remember that idiot Don Lemon? You know, he used to be on Don Lemon used to be on like CNN. And then he did that. He went and stormed the church. He's being prosecuted for storming the church. Well, now this idiot thinks he can be president. Don Lemon thinks he's totally serious, you see, about becoming president. I never finish a bag before it rots. Yes. I meant illegal taco stand. Yeah. Can we talk pineapple again? Sure. Pedro the shitter strikes again. That's right. With neighbors like Mexico and Canada, who needs China? Hey, Pancho, no Cisco. Hey, Pancho, no Cisco. I do love me an enchilada. No lettuce in that. Just drink water. That's right, Mustang. Drink a lot of water. Yes, Lemon should go to jail. That's right. Barrio Lee's a bad taste and Montezuma's revenge, man. It's right. I'm going to get you. Yes. Iceberg lettuce is nature's scrub brush. Don Lemon is delusional. Please, Lord, let Lemon run. Don Lemon thinks. Yes, Lord. This clown. These clown. Don Lemon, who couldn't even hold his job hold on to his job at CNN, and was recently asked if he has political ambitions. He said that he wants to run. He's totally serious about a presidential run. At work, USDA discovers issues with pineapple juice, going to schools, drank too much, spent time in the toilet that day. Colorado worker 2 days later. Oh my God. I saw the lawsuit against Lemon. He's going down. Yes, give Dan Clancy a follow if you're on Rumble. Lemonades. That's right. He's Lemonades. People asking him in disbelief is the same thing saying he should run. Late stage, gay, married to a white guy, president of late stage AIDS patients. Yes. He goes down every night. Yeah, that's what he does. He goes down a lot. Uh-huh. He's totally serious. Let's see. Is there a video here? There we go.
Your political ambition, is that true?
No, but people keep asking me if I'm running for president. And I don't know, I might. I'm serious. I don't know. I might because people keep asking me to do it.
People keep asking. Yes,
I actually
please
think I
do
would be
it.
a really good president of the United States.
Okay, like you're being serious.
No, I'm being totally serious.
So what would it take?
He's totally serious. He's going to run for president. Totally serious. Don Lemon, I'm serious about running for president in 2028. Okay. All right. You're totally serious. I'm totally. It would have to be a voter citizen driven campaign as much. Maybe at some point I might have to take a donation. I'd rather not do that, but I'd rather the people of the United States say that guy, that's the guy we want. Give me like $5-10. Hope he does. Don Lettuce. That's right. There you go. Bottom bunk requested. Don't eat the lettuce to get the shits that way. That's right. Some people can't eat iceberg lettuce simply because of simply because it like if they have what's it called diverticulitis, they can't eat it. So Lemon, who was fired from CNN, and has been a staunch critic of Trump. Vermin Supreme. Hey, Tony, great to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. So, the only people more delusional than Don Lemon would be his donors. Why did CNN fire him? Because he sucked and didn't have any viewers? Did you cover China's open weight AI that was released? Pretty big drop to shake up American AI. No, I didn't really hear anything about it. Don Lemon, another demon rat leader, and well, they got nothing. So are they going to say anything about him being arrested for storming the church here? His firing was a culmination of escalating on-air controversies and friction with staff. Well, yeah, he likes to get into friction with staff. So, he does. He likes to get into friction with staff. So maybe his running mate would be the disgraced Hunter Biden. Believes the biggest problem is not the oligarchy, but the gay mafia, largely Republican, running Washington, D.C. You believe that? Diverticulitis, no fiber for them. Yeah. Oh, I just read why he was fired. Yeah. What black presidents did you vote for? None. Trump, the first black, truly African-American president, Trump. He's got 3 baby mamas, been divorced a bunch of times, and he's a felon. There. Like it? He's a mulatto. Yes. The gay mafia, largely Republican, running. Wow. Yet another unhinged rant on the I've Had It podcast. I believe the biggest problem in America with the federal government is not the oligarchy, it's the closetocracy, as I call it. Everyone knows there's a closeted gay mafia, largely Republican, that exists in Washington, D.C. And so the only reason that's relevant is because I believe there's an internal conflict that creates so much vitriol inside a person. Wow. All right.
I believe that the biggest problem in America is, in Washington, D.C. with the federal government is it not the oligarchy,
Closet cases.
It's the closetocracy, as I call it. It is, and I'm being totally serious. Everybody knows there is like this closeted gay mafia, largely Republican, that exist in Washington, D.C., and everybody knows every single one of them who's gay. And so it's, and what I believe, the only reason that is relevant is because I believe that internal conflict creates so much vitriol inside a person that they take it out on the rest of the world. And they do. And so what they do is their whole lives, they've been closeted. And so you have this like black ball inside yourself, this like blackened heart by the fact that you can't be who you want to be. And so you take it out on everybody else. And these men, largely men, have done exactly that. And everybody knows who they are. Everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? Yes. Now they are accusing Republicans of being gay. They truly have nothing. They're just throwing shit against the wall. Never name your newborn boy Hunter. Scott Besant is our big gay patent. Not very closeted. Yeah. What about Rick Grinnell? Yeah. This loser is worse than the stupid lunatic father. Yes. Yeah. No such thing as American African. Spoken by a cokehead. Whose cocaine was it, Hunter? Yeah, only a crackhead would say that. Republican gay mafia. Yeah. Bella looks up and said, "You're crazy, Jimbo." The first American POTUS America has since Bush. Wisdom from the guy who used to line up M&Ms along his penis. Yes, and snorted and smoked Parmesan cheese. I think more dumb people are going to run for politics because of Kamala probably. How stupid she was. Look at this. We have Willie Nelson. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you so much, Willie Nelson. Welcome to Casual Listener. Thank you so much. With that, folks, that new member means we are now $96 away. I think it's $3.99. Yeah, $3.99. $96 away from adding, I think it's, or is it $5? Wait, hold on. I got to check. I can't even remember how much they are. It's $4, yeah. $3.99. Oh, there actually is a promo right now. I don't know if you guys know this. There's right now there's a promotion. Anybody can become a member right now for nothing. It's 100% off your first membership free. So anybody who wants to be a member, it's $0, and then you only be charged the next month. So for any level of membership, so it's free. So YouTube is giving it away, I guess. That's crazy. But thank you, William Nelson. So there's probably a whole bunch of people going to do it now. So we're 96 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Jim, the mathematician. Yes. I really enjoy your show. Well, thank you. I mean, that's what it says. I think right now, if you check anyone who's not a member on YouTube, if you click on the memberships, I think it says there's a promotion where it's $0 for the first month. I don't know. Well, thank you. Maybe a citizen, but not American. Yes. I felt like I was listening to a confession of projection. How did he get his brother's widow hooked on drugs? Yes. Hell, yo, what's up? Free. I give everyone a membership. Yeah, no, it's just something. It said, I just looked to see what the price was, and it said it was $0. So, and then while we're waiting, I'm going to do a reset on the goal for the second hour here. We are currently $96 away for 1 hour. No, that's not it. Ugh, sorry, wrong thing. I'll start the goal up again for 1 hour. Why is it not letting me do that? Sometimes YouTube does some weird stuff, man. You have to like reset everything. Let me do it. Oh, only for the first time members? Okay. Post number 10011. I'm a life member. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Free, my favorite 4-letter word. Yes. For first time members, it says told me $3.99 per month. Only for first time members, they want to charge me $4.99. Jim, that's not good business model, but we asked instead of super chats, we asked for gift of membership to help build our channel. Yeah, no, I saw it. I clicked on it. It said, do you still get the money if I get the free membership? I don't know. I don't know. How can anyone be gay or straight if the definition of woman is variable? I'm out at the local VFW, but had to interject. Well, thank you, Tony. Have a drink for me with the brothers in arms and tell them that I salute them and thank them for their service. And remember to have one for the lost. Yes. So, and then Hunter Biden slams Merrick Garland for not prosecuting more conservatives following January 6th. So there, he's got more crazy shit to say. Come on, where's it at?
The single greatest mistake of my father's administration was the leadership of Merrick Garland.
I completely agree. I write about this in my book, An All-Today Fascist.
The reason that we are in the situation that we're in right now can almost, well, by the way, the buck has to stop with my dad. He was the president and he chose him. Now, once he chose him, he played by the, a higher standard than the Marcus of Queensberry rules. He played by the Constitution and the tradition that the president will never, particularly since Nixon, involve himself in any decision making as it relates to anything at the Department of Justice. So I guarantee you there was a division between church and state there. But if Merrick Garland had started a completely 100% legitimate investigation rather than thinking like, let's not fan the flames, like did you not watch what I watched?
Yeah.
Did you not see these people storming the Capitol of the United States of America, beating cops and running congressmen and senators literally out of the building?
Yeah.
You didn't see that? You didn't see a president and know that it was a concerted and planned effort on their part, beginning all the way back from the day before the election when they knew they were going to. I mean, go back and listen.
They wanted to kill Mike Pence.
Go back and listen to Steve Bannon talking to Miles Gow on the day before the election, saying exactly what they were going to do. There's tapes. Mother Jones has these tapes that were leaked. You got to listen to the tape.
Okay.
Where he says, this is what we're going to do. First, we started with the laptop and we took, I think
okay, that laptop was 100% all real shit, dude. What was there anything fake on the laptop? That was all your stuff, all the crimes and corruption. They're like ignoring. Yeah, Merrick Garland wasn't corrupt enough. Yeah, it's crazy. Yes. Tony says we did what we did so others don't have to. That's right. He would have been a reality TV sensation if it was 1997. Yeah. He needs an ascot to look more. Yeah. Nope. Didn't see that. Saw a great walkthrough though, and a bunch of whiny libtards. Yeah. This is the guy that borrowed Daddy's vet regularly and had access to the papers kept in Daddy's garage. Yes. Don't forget about that. Yes. Taking over the Capitol without guns. That's right. The balls on this guy to judge anyone is amazing. Yeah. Where does he get off? If he had only arrested more political enemies, and that's what he wants. Yes. Nice job, Hunter. Yeah, he has yet to answer why his father was in his phone as Pedo Pete. That is weird, right? Yeah. Did you see the feds entice people to storm the Capitol and they themselves stormed the Capitol? It's crazy, man. When I look at him, I see a potential mass shooter. Yes, totally. Hunter and Gary Busey, buddy comedy. Yeah, a cop comedy. Yeah. What did you do when Daddy gave you the blanket pardon? Needs a lamppost. Yes. Unless one's father is an actual pedo. In fact,
license with the pictures, because they did this whole thing where I was a pedophile in China and all this stuff that they put out there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to say that the election was not legitimate. And we're just going to say it over and over and over again. So we knew that it was a planned conspiracy that had a disparate number of actors all working inside and outside of the White House at all levels of government.
It's a layup.
And he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. The only way that we got to any prosecution of him as it related to January 6th is we had to wait for Congress to go through an entire series of hearings. And it lays it all out then.
Right.
And we still don't go after him. We don't end up going after him and get Jack Smith until the documents case. And then they bring the documents case in Florida rather than in DC. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I absolutely don't get it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The president has the ultimate declassification authority. When the president took those documents to Florida, he was all within his rights. And the case that Jack Smith was unlawfully appointed. He wasn't a real boy, so he couldn't do anything. And the case went nowhere. It was all persecution. Yeah. So you don't know what you're talking about, crack boy. Tony says, ignorance can be bliss. Forgetting the past is condemned. Yes. Deadbeat dad, deadbeat dad, deadbeat dad. Jack Smith is going to end up in jail, Hunter. TikTok. I hope so. God, I hope so. God. Didn't leave them in a garage everyone had access to either. Yes. He's talking to Possum. Yes, he is. That lady, I hate her. Yes. Mr. Billy On guy, would love to learn how. I'll pay for lessons. Talking about the Biltong guy? I don't know if he's here tonight. But anyway, since you brought that up, I have to say, if you guys are a little hungry, you need a little snack or something, you may feel like a little peckish, you need some protein to pick you up, try some Biltong from King of Biltong, Anton, at www.biltongusa.com. All right. Use promo code Jim, save 10%. It's really good. It's all American made in the US, Texas beef. All right. Wagyu and Angus. It is super tasty. It is good for you. And it is makes excellent gifts, those 8-ounce bags. All right. So you just go to www.biltongusa.com. Use promo code Jim. Get yourself, if you like a little bit of spice, get yourself some of the peri peri. It's a little spicy, but not too hot. If you like it really hot, if you like it fiery, get the ghost pepper or the Reaper, Carolina Reaper. It's really hot, but it's really good. They also have other types of cakes, candies, snacks, cookies, chips, and things you can get from around the world that they bring in. But yeah, so check them out. They're good, and they're great people. They're good Americans. So Joe Biden was not the president at the time. No, he wasn't. Hunter Biden has 170 crimes on his laptop. Yeah. What does it matter where the case is? If he's guilty, he will be convicted, or the courts are corrupt? No, it can't be. Yeah. Never ever felt bad for Joe Biden, even if there's some felt like he was a victim of elder abuse. I did feel bad for Hunter because of his pedo father, but seeing this, I no longer feel bad for Hunter. Where it matters is where the Dems control courts, like New York City. Yeah. Oh, Ank says, all good people, have a great rest of your night. Thank you, and mods. Well, thank you for being here, Ank. It's always a pleasure to have you. It's always a pleasure to have Ank. He's as I say, he's a gentleman and a scholar. And as me, I'm just a gentleman and a scholar. Arr. Unhinged far left Hawaii Supreme Court issues a disgraceful attack on SCOTUS, calls Roberts Court racist, treats landmark rulings as white noise, declares itself beyond federal instruction. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Hunter is the projector in chief. Night. Take care. All right. I enjoyed seeing Mr. Biltong last night. Oh yeah, he was a good guy, nice guy to talk to. Interesting stuff. Remember when Hunter called the Chinese businessman strong-arming him by saying he was sitting with his dad? Yeah. Yeah, it was right there. Got him. What's the difference between an anal thermometer and an oral thermometer? I think the only difference is where you put it. If you don't put an anal thermometer in your mouth, you don't put an oral thermometer in your butt. But I think they can be used either way. I just think it's just once you use one on your butt, you don't want to stick it in your mouth because you never get that shitty taste out of your mouth. He's obviously still doing cocaine. Obviously. I really want to see these people suffer so bad. I believe it for the simple fact that Biden defied SCOTUS. Yeah, right? Yeah, the taste. That's the difference, the taste. Racists still their first go-to. Yes? So a radical left-wing takeover of judiciary has reached a terrifying new low. And a shocking, utterly unhinged ruling issued on Wednesday, the Hawaii Supreme Court has launched a direct, disgraceful assault on the United States Supreme Court. Not just the United States Supreme Court, on the United States, the Constitution, and our rule of law. You think the mercury bulb is shaped differently? Is it? I didn't think there was any difference. I really didn't. Maybe I could be wrong, but I didn't think there was any difference. In the case of Granillo v. State of Hawaii, authored by activist Associate Justice Todd Edens, the rogue state court went completely off the rails. In May 1989, Granillo was accused of abducting Laura Price from a Maui shopping center parking lot after her boyfriend abandoned her. Price testified that Granillo grabbed her, held her knife to her neck, and drove her to the Kahuleo breakwater and sexually assaulted her, forcing oral sex and digital penetration. She escaped by jumping from the moving car, flagged down hump, and was found with hysterical, dirty, messy hair and with bruises on her face, thighs, and arms. Granillo was convicted of kidnapping, 2 counts of first-degree sexual assault, attempted first-degree sexual assault. He received 40 years. The prosecution case rested heavily on Price's testimony, but they bolstered it with uncontroversial physical evidence from FBI hair and fiber expert. I prefer those thermometers you use in your ear. Yeah. Or the ones on your head are too. Oakes testified that the hair found in Granillo's car was consistent with coming from Price and had been forcibly removed. Fibers from Price's underwear and pants were consistent with Granillo's car seat. The prosecution hammered this in the closing. Physical evidence proved Price was in the car with her pants on, then off, when Granillo assaulted her. The jury convicted. For decades, this was standard accepted forensic science. Courts across America, including Hawaii's own precedent. In 2017, the DOJ notified Hawaii that the FBI reviewed old cases and found Oakes' testimony overstated the science. The 2009 National Research Council reported, and the 2016 PCAST report had concluded that microscopic hair and fiber analysis can only provide class-level associations, not individual identifications, no more consistent with originating from a specific person. Which, yeah, they could say it's consistent, but not the same. And they can't say it's exactly. The only way they can do that is with DNA. So Granillo filed a post-conviction petition. Hawaii Supreme Court didn't just apply normal standards. It created and expanded a broad false evidence rule under the state constitution's due process clause, held that prosecutorial knowledge of the falsity isn't required, found a reasonable possibility the testimony contributed to conviction, and ordered a new trial. The left-wing majority used their official state opinion to paint the conservative majority in the Supreme Court as literal enemies of constitutional rights and presumptive racists. It's a complete breakdown. In a blistering opinion, Judge Edens and his woke cohorts declared that Hawaii interprets its constitution independently, untethered from the Supreme Court's analysis of the United States Constitution. They chose to treat the landmark ruling of the highest court in the land as nothing more than white noise. Below are some opinions and politically charged attacks on the Supreme Court. So, Supreme Court's imperious ideology does not stop at due process. The same jurisprudence has cratered democracy itself. Starting with the Voting Rights Act, the Roberts Court did what Congress never would. It rewrote the Voting Rights Act. Like, none of this should have been in a decision from the court. So, judicial demolition invented a textual, unsupported, equal sovereignty friction that's striking down pre-clearance on a hunch that law worked too well. So they fabricated guideposts nowhere in Section 2 to greenlight racial discrimination. Louisiana v. Calais buried the remaining crown jewel of the civil rights movement. So the court then ditched its own 32-day default for releasing decisions and hustled out a judgment mid-primary, a favor granted over objection only twice in 25 years. The Roberts Court sees only white. It refuses to acknowledge who the Equal Protection Clause was written to protect. All the people, the freed people, their descendants. Oh, so equal protection is only for black people. That's what Hawaii is saying. Not for white people, only for black people. They're sure mad they can no longer end racism via noble bigotry. It turns its back on what's in plain sight. The 14th Amendment is not colorblind. It never was. Oh, okay. Okay. The court calls the Constitution colorblind while engineering the dilution of black votes. That's not blindness. It's white sight by design. Like this. This sounds like the court is in open rebellion against the United States. Like what is going on? So rulings run in one direction time after time, weakening protections for those with less power. Drop Hawaii and pick up Greenland. We won't even need to change the flag. Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like they think aloha is something, you know, Supreme Court driven by agenda intent on wiping out power that belongs to people. State constitutionalism makes it easy to consider Roberts Court's jurisprudence white noise. Supreme Court of the United States, according to the Constitution, which you guys are, your state is, you're still bound by the U.S. Constitution, which says the Supreme Court is the supreme law of the land. Sounds like un-American talk. Yeah, it's crazy. Making a country more dangerous with Second Amendment unmoored from the text and history. The states are pissed that they said Hawaii's law violates the Constitution. So the state's responsibility to protect public safety, reduce gun violence. Striking down a careful law and showing disdain for Hawaii's constitutional traditions. Eric Smith says, aloha means hello, goodbye, and eventually judicial insurrection. The Supreme Court just published a political manifesto masquerading as judicial opinion. It calls SCOTUS racist, treats its ruling as white noise, and declares itself beyond federal insurrection. Why isn't any of these senators sending subpoenas to these judges, these Supreme Court judges in Hawaii? Make them come in and talk to them. The Aloha spirit rages against the U.S. Constitution and the Supreme Court, mad only about the result. It issues an unhinged attack on the legitimacy of the Supreme Court. I've never seen anything like this, and it's not good. That's right. Hawaii is, I'm sorry, but Hawaii is part of the United States. I do not think they understand that. They're going to need to have to be, well, they're not going to be impeached. They're Hawaii Supreme Court judges, so they're doing what Hawaii wants. But the problem is Hawaii thinks it doesn't have to follow the U.S. law. That's the issue. Hawaii thinks they don't have to follow United States law and Constitution. So hey, look at that. We've been going 2 hours and 40 minutes. We got about 40 minutes left. It looks like 42 minutes left on the goal, and we are still $96 away from adding a second additional hour. So that's just ridiculous. Yeah, Hawaii, something needs to happen in Hawaii. So AOC does fake black accent during Tennessee rally. Sister Presley and I were in Montgomery, Alabama. Oh, wow. AOC is so stupid. It's just crazy. I can't believe people are fooled by her. She's a Hispanic Puerto Rican, but instead of staying in her own lane, in her actual roots, she's embracing trans ideology and turned herself into a black woman. Isn't that cultural association?
For anyone dealing with brain fog or memory loss, do not ignore this. Did you know your
Sisters, they'll sell you something. Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, we cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind. There is no country when we are split apart. About a month or two ago, we were in Montgomery, Alabama. Sister Presley and I were in Montgomery, Alabama. And one of the things that we said was that it is time for the North to roll up to the South. It is long past time that we help our brothers and sisters wake up to.
Bring it.
We saw this when Justin demanded action on gun violence And the Republicans responded by expelling him from office.
That's not what happened. That is not what happened, you liar. That's not what happened. He fucking didn't follow the rules and acted like an idiot. This isn't the first time. AOC used similar Kamala Harris stuff back when the fighting the oligarchy stuff. Let's see. She did it in fighting the oligarchy.
Hashtag Rumble takeover in the
Rumble.
With Rumble Cloud.
Rumble Cloud. No vendor lock. No vendor lock.
No hidden.
Saw it just happen with Trump's corrupt and
Now you notice how skinny she is here, and in that last one she looked a little plump.
disastrous and rushed tariff scheme. We saw Marjorie Taylor Greene buy that dip.
Oh.
I got one question for her. How much did you make? How much did you make off of people's despair? How much did you make off that panic? How much did you make off of that suffering? No more. We can't accept it. It was all, I hope we see now, that it was all about manipulating the markets so that he could quietly enrich his friends who bought the dip before reversing it all in the morning. Boise, this is a matter of fact.
What?
Donald Trump is a criminal
Oh,
who
she's
was
reading
found
it.
guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud, liable for sexual abuse. Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too.
Oh, whatever. I don't know. I thought this was supposed to be some kind of thing, but Tony says, remember when we used to tar and feather officials? The thing that sets America apart is the power comes from the people, relying only on the consent of the government. This is why we have a First Amendment and Second Amendment. Here. Look at this. Step up if you please. Step up, please, if you can. Thank you so much for the 10. Wow. Thank you so much. That means we're now just $86 away, folks. Just 86 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. We have a total of 200 viewers on all platforms right now. 144 on YouTube, 54 on X. I don't know if there's really 54 on X, or I don't know how they do it exactly. But thank you so much. Mr. Jim, if you ever find yourself in Kentucky, you have a place at my table. Well, thank you. I do drive through Kentucky occasionally, Mr. Nelson. If you play AOC, I'll mute it for a minute. All right, sorry. Kiss my behind, biatch. Get it, girl. That's right. Lots of big behinds. Yes, that's right. Big booty. What's it? Big booty Latina, right? Oh, now she's challenging Hillary on her fake accents. Yes. Since when did this retard get a Southern accent? Well, she just bought one at the store. Apparently, Helena Troy had a lot of melanin. Yes, a lot of melanin. Helena Troy. A lot of it. You can kiss my Alabama behind. When was this? The one was just a couple days ago. This one was back in 2024 or 2023. Agent of Chaos, AOC. She's taking lessons from Hillary. Yes. They're the epitome of oligarchs. Yes. Over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Big behinds have their own zip code. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. That's right. It just happens. It just happens. The wall is coming for her. How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggity tail. I always picture some lib douche coming into the bar she tended and being like, hey, you want to know how to make real money? Yes. She's a fake, and these idiots just believe her BS. That's right. Flush the turd. The turd just won't go down. Just flush it down anyway. Crowd is so gullible. Que asquero en mujer el repugnante. Agreed, Joe. Hillary did that act too. Yes. That's why I hear when AOC. That's what I hear when AOC breathes, maybe, or talks, speaks, says. I don't know. Thank you. So, all right. Next story. Andrew and Tristan Tate arrested in Miami as the UK seeks extradition on expanded rape trafficking charges. How is the UK prosecuting? Were they ever in the UK? These crowds all get paid. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The Manosphere social media influencer brothers were nabbed by U.S. Marshals outside a bare-knuckle boxing event. You don't say. So they're going after the Tates, even though, well, let's see, I don't think this is about the UK has a grooming thing going on, but they're going after the Tates instead of all the Pakistanis doing the rapes.
Welcome back. A bombshell report on grooming gangs involving rape and child sex exploitation in the UK. A member of parliament released it yesterday. Some of the horrifying things in this inquiry included organized networks of perpetrators built coordinated operations that transported victims between locations, supplied them with drugs and alcohol, recorded abuse for distribution and blackmail, and passed girls between multiple adult men. These crimes have been committed for decades, since the 1950s, by Pakistanis in particular. The numbers in the report are absolutely staggering. Around 87% of those convicted in the group-based child sex exploitations are distinctively Muslim names. The report cites evidence of grooming gang activity in 149 different areas in the UK. And get this, an estimated 250,000 victims nationwide. In one case alone, 47 children were identified as victims.
47 children. Wow. Why are we cooperating with the UK? I don't know. The U.S. Marshals did it, so I don't know. Hey, Jim, my mom said I have to watch church news.
McDonald's is rolling out.
You can if you want. But Andrew and Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested Saturday in Miami after U.S. Marshals took the controversial social media influencers into custody on a sealed warrant, as British prosecutors announced dozens of new criminal charges. Andrew Tate is a Muslim. Yes. Momo the Homo, most famous pet in history. Okay. They forgot the murders. Oh, snap. Yeah. AOC won a CIA beauty contest and is a CIA plant. She was picked. She was like an actress picked, like an acting role is what it was. So, dozens of new charges and sought their extradition. U.S. Marshals on the Southern District of Florida arrested Andrew and Tristan Tate pursuant to extradition proceedings. These warrants were made in accordance with treaties and law enforcement agreements governing Justice Department extraditions. Bedfordshire police also confirmed the brothers were arrested Saturday in Miami in connection with a UK police investigation into alleged sex offenses dating back to 2012. That's 14 years ago. Photos and videos published appear to show federal agents handcuffing the brothers outside the James L. Knight Center in downtown Miami, where Andrew Tate had been scheduled to appear at a bare-knuckle boxing event. America's Most Wanted fugitive cash on the sailboat. I'm gonna read that. Check out that story next. So the arrests come hours after Britain's Crown Prosecution Service announced it approved a major expansion of the criminal case against the brothers. 886 away. That's ambitious. Wait, what? Did I fuck something up? Oh, sorry. That's crazy. My bad. It's 86. My bad. I can't believe I did that. Thank you for letting me know. Just ordered some stuff from Anton. Well, thanks. That's great. Thank you very much for doing that. It's almost time for the next crusade. I'm ready, prepared, and well-trained. What side are you going to find yourself? Well, I know what side I'm on. I'll be standing beside you, Tony. I used code word Jim. There you go. This is only a few months after Patrick David was encouraging to move to Miami from the Qatar or wherever he lives. Yes, it is an expensive habit. Yes, it is. James L. Knight is the center of downtown Miami. What were they doing? They were at some bare knuckle fighting thing, I guess. You've lost your glasses, so you're fine. Don't worry about it. I'm good at deciphering usually typos. I'm pretty good at figuring out what people are trying to say. So Andrew Tate's facing 32 charges. Tristan's facing 17. According to CPS, Andrew Tate now faces additional charges, including rape, arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, and offenses including indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. Prosecutors say Tristan Tate also faces additional rape and sexual assault and trafficking charges. Oh, my God. CPS said the alleged crime spanned from 2010 to 2017 and involved 4 additional victims, bringing the total of alleged victims in the UK to 7. The CPS has requested extradition of the Tates from the U.S. They have been arrested, awaiting extradition proceedings. Law enforcement source told Fox News Digital the charges stem from the United Kingdom, and the arrest warrant is expected to be unsealed and reveal the UK charges. The brothers are expected to make initial appearance U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida earlier next week. Assistant Chief Constable. See, I don't trust anything coming out of Britain, though. That's the problem. I don't trust anything coming out of Britain. Hey, look at that. Duck Fat gifted a membership on Rumble, and Vegans Taste Like Chicken got it. Thank you, Duck Fat. Thank you so much for the gifted membership. With that, we are now $81 away, just $81 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Duck Fat. And welcome to the JimSomniacs Vegans Taste Like Chicken. So I don't know. I mean, I don't trust anything coming out of the UK, but I don't know. I've heard some stuff about these guys. I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't know if they're really evil people. George Washington once said, the thing that sets the American Christian apart from anyone else on the world is that he will die on his feet before he lives on his knees. I wholeheartedly agree. Here, here. Smells like made up BS, especially if the UK is involved. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust the UK at all. Had some sympathy for Tristan. His interview with Crowder could tell he hated a lot of their business, but was captive younger brother syndrome. It's the Rumble clap. Oof, battery caught at 2% just in time to capture illegals. That's awesome. Recent FOIA doc show Epstein worked for the CIA as a financial bounty hunter. Wonder how the Tate bros make their money. Mike Benz Cyber. Oh, did he say something too about them? And American women will never submit to burqas. That's right. Never. Thunder waking up baby at Chimney Swifts. I want them to sleep through the night. Yes, babies need to sleep through the night. There's no place for male violence against women and girls, and we will continue to work tirelessly to support the victims and investigate all the reports made to us. What about all the thousands and thousands of reports about the Pakistanis, the grooming gangs? This is like, I think they're doing this just to take the heat off the grooming gang shit. The brothers who hold dual U.S. and British citizenship rose to fame as manosphere influencers, building millions of followers with content promoting hyper-masculinity and male non-monogamy. Ben's just went over the docs. I'll have to look for that. Hunter is the poster boy for idiocracy. They denied criminal allegations filed against them in the Romania. They have denied criminal allegations filed against them in Romania and the United Kingdom. Neither the U.S. Marshal Service nor the Department of Justice has publicly identified the basis for the sealed warrant. The brothers' attorney did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Like, this might turn into, if they fight the extradition and then if they petition the U.S. government to say, hey, we're not going to get a fair trial there because of our political leanings. I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. If they did rape any women or do any of these things, then they should be punished. If this is bullshit charges, they will charge the Tate with 250,000 counts of grooming in the UK and call it a day. Yes. Allegedly. Yes. Allegedly. They allegedly did all these things. I don't know if they did. If they did it, then punishment. If they didn't do it, I don't know. You know, like I think I would not trust the I don't trust the UK government is what I'm getting at. That's my point. I don't trust the UK government at all. At all. So America's most wanted fugitive captured on a sailboat off the New Jersey coast after 20 years on the run. The Rumble color code, donation color code confused me. They should have copied YouTube to make it easier to track. Yeah, it's hard to tell what Rumble's doing. They're doing their own things. I think they had to change the color on purpose. Otherwise, YouTube would accuse them of copying them. It would have been a problem. Ronald Fisher was convicted in absentia of first-degree sexual assault in Rhode Island after fleeing his 2005 trial. Romania makes a nice AK. It's the Wasser 10. Yes. Yeah. UK civil service and politicians are terrified of the visitors. They know they will make kebabs out of them. Oh. So, well, let's see. This is another one, a fraudster. Let's see. This is another one caught.
Minnesota's fraud crisis back in the spotlight after a Minneapolis man becomes the FBI's first arrest on a new most wanted fraudsters list. The suspect is accused of helping steal more than $4 million from a federal child nutrition program during the COVID pandemic. Michelle Tafoya is a Minnesota Senate candidate and joins us now. I'm sure there are a lot of American taxpayers that are going to see happy to see these guys see accountability.
No question about it. And here in Minnesota, we're happy to see our governor, Tim Walz, and also our AG, Keith Ellison, referred to the DOJ, because it's really hard to imagine this much money getting lost or moving around without people knowing about it. And we've seen some evidence that what people knew about it. But yes, to have these fraudsters on the most wanted list and to have someone turn himself in the way this gentleman did is good news for everyone. We feel like we're starting to see, Sandra, visible results of this fraud crackdown. The 19 previous arrests, the 22 search warrants that came in, all of these things matter. They add up. It is the tip of the iceberg. We want to see it all try to come back and be accounted for. We know we're not going to claw all this money back to Minnesota or the federal government because it is federal dollars, but we like seeing accountability and we want to see more and more and more of it.
Especially when you learn the details of this particular arrest and the allegations against Syed Abdullahi, or Eric, yeah. Okay, so he ran a deli sponsored by Feeding Our Future, falsely claimed to serve meals to children in need. He obtained more than $4.2 million in reimbursements. And here's Kash Patel, the FBI director, on his arrest. We set up the historic first ever most wanted fraudsters list for this exact purpose, to bring to justice the alleged worst of the worst who took advantage of American taxpayers and stole public funds, and let them know that the days of Washington, D.C. turning a blind eye to fraud are over. I think a lot of people can cheer that on, Michelle. Meanwhile, though, I want to ask you about the whistleblowers that are so important in rooting out this fraud. This is Faye Bernstein, and she talks about how becoming a whistleblower and the experience that she has had doing so, it's brought a lot of fraud to light, but it's also changed her life. Listen.
Oh, it was very intimidating. You lived in fear of being called racist. And that is life-changing. That changes how you walk around in the world and how you do your work. I am not confident speaking up about things anymore. It is very impactful.
While there are so many so grateful for her speaking up, it's hard. Do you imagine that other people will hesitate to come forward?
Absolutely. I've met some of them. I've talked to some who have been rebuffed by the Minnesota state government for coming forward. You know, these weapons that they use, I'll use the term weapons, of labeling people, terms that are so undeserved and so disgusting and despicable. White supremacist, xenophobe, racist, is just so unfair. But this is a tool that is used to shut people up and to shut them down. And I've seen this time and time again, Sandra, where people are just intimidated and they end up just saying nothing. I mean, this has been going on for years now. I want people to be inspired by this woman. I want them to.
Yeah, that's right. Be inspired. Did this just stop? I guess so. Hey, how's it going, Uncapped? How you doing? No. Ronald Fisher, a former Rhode Island anesthesiologist, spent more than 2 decades on the run after fleeing during his child sex assault trial, was captured aboard a sailboat on the coast of New Jersey after an online sleuth's tip helped investigators track him down. Fisher, one of Rhode Island's longest wanted fugitives, had been on the run since fleeing the state during his 2005 sex assault trial. He never returned to court, and a jury later convicted him of first-degree sex assault in absentia during the U.S. Marshals, according to Marshal Service. Authorities searched for him for 20 years. Wow, 20 years. Charles says, can Tate's lawyers use the previous inaction by the government to dismiss their case, or can the UK choose to hate Tate more because he isn't a poor Muslim refugee? I don't know. I mean, the UK can pretty much do whatever it wants. There's really no rules. They don't have rights and stuff. They just decide what they're going to do and whatever. So the American women are allowing men to compete in female sports, not trying to cause issues. Yeah, they are, man. They need to stop. The women need to step up. They need to do more things. I bet cash Tates belong to MI6. It's possible. It's been a long day, most of it on the road. Well, it's, impactful is a meaningful term in times of an E. coli outbreak. Yes. Hey, what's up, Base Turco? How you doing? Oh, look at that. That's the royal flag of the Kingdom of Iran prior to, when it was ruled by the actual real leader, His Highness. Only liberal females. That's right. So investigators tracked Fisher to New York, where they found he was operating a 56-foot sailboat named the Silver Lining, which authorities said was registered under the alias Richard Graydon. Wow, this guy. That's a 56-foot sailboat. That's a pricey thing. So Marshal Service and FBI agents of the Coast Guard personnel intercepted the vessel off the coast of New Jersey before taking Fisher into custody without incident. The Boston Field Special Agent Toddy Dock said the breakthrough came after investigators received a tip from an online sleuth, which led them to the sailboat registered under Fisher's alias, Robert Graydon. Ronald Fisher thought he had escaped justice, but thanks to a tip from an online sleuth, it's a schooner. That's right, a schooner. That's when the FBI and Rhode Island Violent Fugitive Task Force coordinated a multi-state enforcement operation resulted in his capture. It's truly a testament to our strong law enforcement. Fisher was transported aboard a Coast Guard vessel and Coast Guard stations Staten Island, where he turned over to deputy U.S. Marshals and local law enforcement. Wow, that's what he looked like when he fled. This is what he's looked like when he's caught. Why is he smiling? Oh. So arrest demonstrates that time doesn't erase accountability. For more than 20 years, he believed he successfully escaped justice. Why did he come back? Where was he living on the sailboat, just going out and then coming back and going out? Well, I'd like to hear more about what he was. I'd like to hear more about this story. So we're proud of the persistent coordinated work. Well, they only got him. The arrest capped an intensive multi-state investigation with assistance by the FBI. Authorities credited FBI special agents and analysts. The Marshal Service said Fisher had been living under the alias Richard Graydon before coordinating with federal and state officials to arrest him. If you have a tip, reach out to him and let him know. Okay, about that. That's right. So, illegal alien drunk driver crashes into DOJ pardon attorney Ed Martin and flees the scene. Oh, that's right. Where is it at? I have it here. I have it somewhere here. I swear I had it in my bookmarks. Let me see. Oh, I swear I had it. Maybe not. Oh, I guess not. I thought I had it. I thought I had it from Ed Martin. Here it is. Just got rear-ended at a red light. Car driven by two Hispanic non-Americans. Beer bottles all over the floor. Two fled the scene on foot. One was so drunk he came back to get his stuff. No insurance. Car registered to some unknown. Lawlessness in the U.S. Yeah. It's crazy, right? Ran out of drugs. Yeah. Was there a collision? Was the collision on purpose? I don't think. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Sailing takes me away to where I'm going. Do 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 do. An alleged drunk driver, illegal alien. Not sure what a Urnip truck is. I'm having a few at the local VFW. Don't worry, Tony. You're all good in my book. According to Ed Martin, two drunk Hispanic non-Americans were at the vehicle and both fled on foot. The car was registered to an unknown person. It's unclear if there was any arrests. Ed Martin's appears to be uninjured. Just got rear-ended at a red light. Yeah. Two fled the scene. Oh, I didn't know this was going to be there. I went and looked for it. Damn it. Ed Martin serving as U.S. pardon attorney. Ed Martin was appointed to U.S. pardon attorney on May 14, 2025. Who sings that song? His name is Christopher Cross. He also sang the theme to the movie Arthur, and another one is Ride like the wind. Ride like the wind. Christopher Cross, yes. So, why is this guy pouring Coke on his head? A New York native is a graduate of Holy Cross where he completed an Indonesian studies program. Wow, that's interesting. You should let him do it. Okay. All right. Just in, State Department issues worldwide travel advisory amid escalations in Iran, says U.S. interests may be targeted. Yes, we. U.S. State Department issues a new worldwide caution for travel advisory. This comes after U.S. launched a 7th consecutive night, actually 8th night. The best that you can do is fall in love. They targeted a bunch of military and all this other stuff. Oh, we got that's cool.
At Rumble, we care
Oh, hey,
about our
isn't
creative
this? Aren't they
partners. We care
UK
about our
targeting him,
advertisers.
choosing
There
him a
are
rape too?
millions.
I think they are.
Rediscover trust with Rumble Cloud. No vendor lock-in. No hidden.
Wow. Just in, breaking news, huh? Yeah, that's right. That's how we do it here. Just in, breaking news. Wow. So flight cancellations, periodic airspace closures may cause travel disruptions, including the Middle East. So groups supportive of Iran may target U.S. interests overseas or locations associated with the United States or Americans throughout the world. Due to heightening tensions in the Middle East, security environment remains complex, potential for unseen escalation. We remind Americans in the region that continued need for caution. That's right. If you get caught between the moon and New York City. Thank you, brother. You made my night. No problem. If they refuse to compete, who gets the college scholarships? Asking for a hypothetical female friends. I don't know. The trans guy, apparently, for now. Yes, that's how it is. I was in the infantry. Women and children are not my specialty. Well, with exceptions. Yes. If Iran targets civilians, then that will be war. It's already war. Yes. Cocaine is for the nose. Yes, it is. Any updates from CENTCOM? Just that as far as I know, it's just that the war has been going on for a while. Well, it's increasing. Other things are happening. Iran rarely targets anything but civilians. Did you mean American civilians? Yeah. Well, yes, they will FAFO for sure. Definitely. So, yes, the Department of State advises all Americans to, especially in the Middle East, to exercise increased caution. Americans abroad should follow the guidance and security alerts issued to the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate. Flight cancellations, periodic airspace closures may cause travel disruptions. U.S. diplomatic facilities, including outside the Middle East, have been targeted. Groups supportive of Iran may target other U.S. interests overseas or locations associated with the United States or Americans throughout the world. Yeah, if you get caught, Mandami's going to tax you. No, I know. I understand. I'm just, it's cool, silent. Any chance of Iran being paused before the midterms? Well, it might be over by the midterms, I think. I hope so. Rumble's doing a lot of ads. And Rumble's advertising like crazy. Where are they getting all this money? They should be paying me more money.
Issued a brand new worldwide caution urging Americans to think twice about any travel to the Middle East. It was released just about 40 minutes ago on the travel.
Okay. When did Congress declare war? The last time Congress declared war was World War II. All right. We could still be at war without Congress declaring war. You understand? It's just not a declared war by Congress. But we're at war. Anyone who thinks we're not at war when people are dying and we're killing people, we're at war. I don't think we'll lose the House or the Senate. I don't either. I think it's going to be fine.
Gov website. Due to heightened tensions in the Middle East, the security environment remains complex with the potential for unseen escalation. And that's exactly what we saw in neighboring Jordan, John, last night when Iran fired multiple intermediate range ballistic missiles that made it through U.S. air defense systems, hit a base in Jordan with dozens of U.S. Air Force personnel at the base, F-16s, F-15s, F-35 stealth fighter jets. We know from U.S. Military Central Command that there are at least 2 U.S. service members killed in action. 1 remains missing, as you mentioned. Also, 4 others were wounded. Also want to remind viewers that earlier today, before this news about the recent casualties in Jordan, there were 13 American troops wounded just earlier this week, John, as Iran has stepped up its attacks on neighboring Gulf countries, Bahrain, in Jordan, and certainly in Kuwait, where we saw a desalination plant get hit, a power plant get hit for Kuwaitis drinking water. And why are they attacking Kuwait, John? We have a lot of U.S. assets there. We have U.S. Army firing HIMARS, surface-to-surface missiles from Kuwait. We also have Ali Salim Air Base, major transit point. Bahrain is home of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet. And in Jordan, a major U.S. Air Force presence. From a lot of our viewers, we've been focusing primarily on the Navy over the last 4 months of this war. There's a large U.S. Air Force presence, certainly here in Israel.
Yeah, certainly in Israel. So got to be really careful. So heavy U.S. strikes are expected after 2 U.S. service members were killed. So that's what's happening there. So let's see. Tony says, what war? We are conducting operations to ensure global stability. Yes, that's true. But I'm just saying, Congress did pass the War Powers Act approving this. Soldiers die in training. That's not war. I said we were killing people and soldiers are dying and we're killing the enemy. So that's kind of war. Come on. I was getting so tired of Congress was to do this argument. Congress did do this. Okay. You think we'll take any of the islands and the straits? I do. You're just giving me shit. I know. Yes, you are correct. Tony is correct. This is just operations, military operations. We have too many Marines over there to not take over the islands. Yes, definitely. Joe is right. We lost someone who was too tired driving back from training. Luckily, only 1 person was hurt. We changed protocols afterwards. We need to move all assets out of the Gulf and into Israel. Do I think we need to move all assets? No. We are at war within. Yes, yes. To me, it seems like they're exaggerating every hit by Iran and not looking at any gains. Yes. I think you're right. I do. I think you're right. So Iranian airstrikes in Jordan left several U.S. service members injured. So yes, we need to just hit them so hard that they don't know whether to shit or go blind. We need Saudi and UAE troops to engage. They're the ones that have to deal with these cycles after we leave. Yes, definitely, Alan. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. I personally think I don't know, man. This is my opinion. This is not like I don't have secret information, but I think from what I'm seeing, they're going to take an island or 2, and then they're going to have Saudi Arabia or the UAE or somebody hold it. Like we might have our Marines take it and then give it to them and leave, and pull our troops out. So that way, any type of insurgency would be dealt with by the Arabs, not us. The war was basically over when it started. We're at the stop hitting yourself stage. Yeah, I agree. Sounds great. Trans Maine Senate candidate claims he bleeds through rectum when he's on his monthly period. When you don't have the proper hole, it finds one of 2 exits. What? Place warheads on foreheads. We have plenty of tools to turn our enemy into pink mist and bone chips. This clown. What does this say? This is is that Meatloaf? Looks like Meatloaf. Long shot Maine Senate candidate Ashley Webb, who's running to replace Senate nominee Graham Plattner revealed to have claimed he gets his monthly period through his rectum. Rectum? It nearly killed him. A transgender activist went viral during the debate after claiming that transparency made him qualified for the seat. I wouldn't lie to people. I would never deceive people. What? It's Meatloaf's cousin. His pronouns are meat and loaf. Yes. At one point, he claimed trans communities being dehumanized. So I just want to use the bathroom. I don't want to be assaulted. Oh, let's see.
At Rumble, we care about our creative partners. We care about our advertisers. There are millions of
Technology leaders face rising cloud costs in today's digital marketplace.
And then with the trans community, like, we're being dehumanized. They say that we want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to use the bathroom. And if they want me to use the men's room, I will, but I don't want to be assaulted.
I don't want to be assaulted. I don't want to be assaulted. So they are bunkering down and betting we don't have the fortitude to continue. That's what I think. So any other mental illness we called out as the illness it was. He doesn't have a uterus, so he doesn't have a period. I can tell that's a dude by the lights of the dashboard. That dude's name is Ashley. It's crazy, right? He would assault a female in 2 minutes. He would do anything for love, but he won't do that. Yes, definitely. If he has no uterus, no period. How many hormones does he take? Give back to the Western Persians. Yes. He has no eggs to flush out. On a Reddit post revealed the gender dysphoria reportedly writing under a pseudonym, Webb initially announced his run for Senate. I'm a trans intersex woman from Farmington. I'm running for a whole campaign myself. He appears to have spent a lot of time trying to explain his self-described trans intersex condition. Webb states he has external male parts, but said he is pretty positive I am XX type, except I got internal organs, unless what I'm feeling are tumors that just happen to grow where the sorts of organs are usually. Pretty sure if he's bleeding, it's prostate cancer. Yes. This is a main transmission. He claims to have ovulate and get monthly periods despite no evidence of female organs, asserting that his bleeding comes through his anus. In comments under a Reddit post about Montana banning people from using a bathroom that doesn't correspond with their gender, the user believed to be Webb claimed that he's a female. Yeah. So he was born with external male parts. My testosterone is at 429 and estrogen's at 285. The estrogen is not affecting my male parts. Male parts are normal size. I grew breasts and wider hips during puberty. He went on to claim that in his mid-20s, he started getting a monthly period that he still has. He claims he's been misdiagnosed with appendicitis or kidney stones. This person is legit crazy. I legitimately thought it was a skit when I saw him. Yeah. He's mostly sure he's not experiencing a mental illness. I find it grossly strange men want periods now. They don't. I don't. The NDAA for 2027 is to be voted on this week. If the Democrats don't agree, Trump will need to figure out how he keeps the boats in the straight. Okay. That's just being a fat ass. Boobs are not boobs. That's right. Not my toilet. Maybe he needs more lube. Yeah. Comment about my claim. He personally suggested blood finds one of two exits. When I'm having this monthly period pain and it's not bad, I feel something on my right side about where my appendix is located and something about my bladder. When the monthly pain is really bad, I'm feeling something on both my right and left side. When you don't have the proper hole, it finds one of two exits. The guy in China was lucky and the exit was his bladder. Me, on the other, was not so lucky. My exit is made with the colon. Jim is so intelligent. No, I'm not really that intelligent. Yeah, he got fat. Yeah, Brain Socks, what's up? Good to see you. I guarantee I don't want to have a period. Yes, I don't want a period. Sounds like kidney stones. That's what it sounds like to me. Make her go to Minnesota to get boys' room tampons. Yeah, that's what they need. He can stick them in his butt. He would never deceive as he's dressed as a man and making these claims. Yes. That's right. Mother of Papillons, great to see you. No, intersex like us don't get diagnosed till our 20s as we tend not to be born with extra holes. He goes on to claim that he's trying to get diagnosed still, and the pain in the center right below his belly button suggests it's ping pong-sized lump at his side. Yeah, he might have a terminal Taco Bell patron, probably. Hey, 1P3, how you doing? Great to see you. Vote for I bleed for my asshole. Yes, vote for me. I bleed for my asshole. That's a winning sign. So this is just crazy. I heard a radio ad for tampons for your nose. I missed out on the nightlife in the 80s, but I bet you could have made bank with those back then. Ignorance can be bliss. Ask anyone with PTSD. Knowledge hurts more. The woman in him is trying to get out. Yeah, he must have ate one. Maybe. He kicked him in the crotch. Yes, that's right. So, moron AOC says Senate was founded on Jim Crow while defending DSA's calls to abolish the Senate. They can't abolish the Senate without ripping up the Constitution. You can't even. You can't even do a constitutional amendment because it's in the Constitution. It's not an amendment to the Constitution. It's in the base of the Constitution. Like you would have to rewrite the Constitution. This is the best Democrats can find in Maine. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? This idiot. She is such an idiot, this one. Her IQ put on full display when asked about the DSA's desire to abolish the Senate. It gives more representation to people in smaller states than the 30 million people in California. Here's the thing. It represents the states. It doesn't represent the people. It's equal representation to the states. Here's this idiot from the DSA guy.
Ready to show off your live gameplay? Start streaming with Rumble Studio.
It's easy. AR lovers, you need to see this. This gadget right here saved me over $500.
So you don't want to abolish the Senate, the United States Senate, because that's what Article 1 is.
The United States Senate is an undemocratic institution. It gives more representation to people in smaller states than to the 30 million people in California.
So you've got the House of Representatives, which is population driven, and then you've got the Senate. So every state, if you're a small state, you still get 2 senators, even though you only get maybe 1 congressman, in order to make all of the states have fair representation. So you say, I'm just confused.
When you ask normal Americans
Yeah.
if Congress and the Senate and our political system is working for them, most people are very unhappy with the political system and they say it's not working for them. When we think about the 250th anniversary of the United States and we think about our proudest moments in US history, I think of times like when ordinary people rose up and they changed the Constitution to abolish slavery, to give women the right to vote.
Everyone's proud of that.
And
you can't just, he doesn't understand. These people are, you can't just change the Constitution. That there's 3 branches of government. You can't abolish one of the branches of government. Then it's no longer, the Constitution has to be completely rewritten. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Yes, it's undemocratic. We're not a democracy. The Constitution guarantees us we will not be one. How do you swear an oath to a document you can't read? It's ridiculous, right? It's crazy.
That's a nationwide pride in the country.
But back in those moments, those were considered radical movements because those people dared to say we need transformative change in the United States.
Right.
And I
well,
think
we
that
struggle
we see...
to become a more perfect union. But I just want to ask you again, do you want
Yeah, once again, this guy who's talking was born in Peru. He's not American. Came here, he's a naturalized citizen. Ordinary people, you mean Congress after the Civil War. Yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's fucking ridiculous.
to abolish the United States Senate? Because you said you approve of Article 1, but then you said you didn't think the Senate works.
We think that the Senate should be reformed, that we should have a more democratic government system. But that's a long-term change that we're seeking. And in the short term, we're focused on issues like affordability, like freezing the rent, which we've just done in New York, like in creating a universal childcare system, which
these people are. This is so AOC tried to claim the Senate goes against values, claiming it emerged from Jim Crow segregation laws. Ready? You ready for this idiot?
Rumble Studio is the answer to everything.
Jesus
we have a
Christ.
show on the hour every hour, and we started.
Welcome to the Speak Hebrew podcast,
Today, we're talking about why most Jewish Americans never become
call to abolish the U.S. Senate. The New York Democrat repeatedly declined to reject the plan. And when I pressed her on whether she supports the institution, Ocasio-Cortez suggested elements of the Senate were racist.
I don't support the filibuster. I don't support elements of this institution that we know, were founded on Jim Crow.
Those comments here in the Senate drawing sharp criticism.
Yeah, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. The filibuster has been around almost the entire time of the Senate, but it's not supposed to work the way it did. The Senate was created in the Constitution when it was ratified in 1788, and the first session was held in 1789. The Jim Crow era spanned the late 19th century to the mid 20th century, beginning nearly 100 years after the Senate opened its doors. They don't teach that in art degree programs. Meanwhile, the Gateway Pundit reports that several other House Democrats distanced themselves from the radical agenda when confronted on Friday. Well, they didn't distance themselves enough. That's part of the problem. Part of the problem. Peru has a mascot they eat. Yeah. On the bartender program, AOC graduated from. Why is Plattner advertising Rumble Studio? I don't know. Maybe that's his new job. Constitution says we have a republic form of government. Yeah. I bet his boyfriend lets him tickle that underlip thing. Yeah, probably. Why does he talk like a girl? Because he's... Definitely. So let's see. Got a couple more stories to talk about here real quick. Okay, so that already. So, police investigating after dead bodies found at the home owned by husband of far-left squad member Ayanna Pressley. You don't say. A body was found at Ayanna Pressley's house. This one. Repeal the 19th. Not a bad idea. The Finnish bill is a rule set by the Senate and overseen by the parliamentarian. Yeah. Is that the guinea pig? I think so. If we would have listened to Brent Franklin, we would eat our mascot as well. You still there? I'm still here, Mark. How you doing? Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So a death investigation is underway at the home owned by husband of far-left Democrat Ayanna Pressley after a body was discovered on the property Saturday afternoon, according to Boston PD. Authorities responded to the Mattapan residence after reports of a deceased individual on the grounds of the property. The home is owned by Pressley's husband, Conan Harris. The scene was quickly cordoned off with red crime tape as Boston PD homicide took over the investigation. Vigor is watching Kirk. I don't know what that means. Vigor. At 1:52, Boston police received an investigative person call for, what does it say? Investigative person call. What? Investigate person call. I'm sorry, not investigative person call. Wow. Mokia said the police arrived shortly after the call, found a dead body in the area of the home. Said it's a death investigation. Oh, Star Trek reference because of her chrome dome. Oh my God, she has somebody. It's crazy, isn't it? City records show 7-bedroom home is owned by Presley's husband, Conan Harris. The home was built in 1910, is valued this year at more than $919,000. Shantae Turner, the realtor who is selling the property, said it went on the market about a month ago. The same tenants have been living in the house for a while, so it's a rental. She said she doesn't know any details about what happened. It sounds unfortunate, though. So a spokesman for Presley declined to comment. Harris was reportedly at Roxbury Library event the morning, delivering remarks on her behalf. Boston PD have not released the identity of deceased, the cause of death, or whether foul play is suspected. Please show the trans getting out of a car last night. Too funny. Oh, that one? Oh, yeah. I don't have that video. That was off label, brought that one. Wait, you didn't even pause when you learned his name is Conan? No, that's crazy, isn't it? Conan. That's his name, Conan. And she's got a bald head like a Fulsa Doom. Turkish migrant invokes Sharia law, assaults a flight attendant after being assigned to sit next to a woman on a German flight. 29-year-old Turkish migrant living in Germany was arrested after refusing to sit next to a woman on a flight to Dusseldorf, invoking Sharia law before assaulting a female flight attendant who confronted him. The incident occurred June 1st aboard a flight to Germany. Aircraft landed in Dusseldorf at 6:59. German police arrested a man who struck a flight attendant in the face after she addressed his refusal to sit next to the female passenger. The criminal complaint was forwarded to the Dusseldorf police. According to the initial witness statement, the man invoked Sharia law and refused to sit next to a woman. The suspect reportedly cited Sharia law and Islamic legal and moral code as justification. The suspect later confessed to the crime, where he insulted the officers who confronted him in Turkish. One of the federal police officers speaks Turkish and was able to translate, which led the suspect to not only being charged with assault, but a charge of assault and insult. Reports initially said the incident occurred on a Turkish Airlines flight, but a representative for the airline said the incident was unrelated to the company. You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. Well, liberalist socialist owns a $919,000 rental house. It's crazy. Tulsa Doom. Yeah. Well, everybody, it looks like we didn't hit the goal for the additional hour. So that's going to be it tonight for Jim. We went 3.5 hours, so we didn't hit the second hour, but it is what it is. Sunday night, there probably will be a show tomorrow. It'll be late again, probably 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night, maybe earlier, but we'll see what happens depending on what I got going on, what I can get done, stuff like that. I want to thank everybody who was here. Please remind everyone to please hit the like button and please subscribe. I blame me. No, don't. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Conan, not Conan the Warrior. Con Man the Warrior. Night Bella and friends. Yes, Con Man the Warrior. I will raid a show. I'm going to be a random raid, whoever goes, but that's where it goes. I want to thank you all for being here again, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Come back for Jim to tell you the news. Thank you, Tiberius. Thank you. That's right. Sounds like a scene from the movie Airplane. That's right. Sounds like a scene from the movie Airplane. Come back tomorrow for Jim to tell you the news.